Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I, the abandoned son of my family, have awakened double S level powers. Chapter 21. Outside the city, Yi Chen walked through the dozens of meters of city walls and arrived outside the city. That's right, this city wall is dozens of meters thick. Not only that, when Yi Chen was in the city, he could hardly see anything outside the city. The city wall was at least 200 meters high. Can such a city wall resist the attacks of strange beasts? Yi Chen's heart was filled with confusion. Yi Chen quickened his pace, wanting to see what was outside. What came into view was a forest. The nearest tree from the city wall was probably only a few dozen meters away. Moreover, these trees are extremely tall, and the century-old trees in the previous life are far inferior to the ones in front of me. It was morning when Yi Chen left the city, and it was still sunny today. But the sunlight is almost blocked by these towering trees, and only a little bit of light shines through the gaps in the leaves. Yi Chen stood here, and the pressure on his face made Yi Chen's heart beat faster. Not because of fear, but because of how small I am compared to these big trees. Although Yi Chen was mentally prepared when he left the city, he was still shocked by the sight in front of him. I originally thought that this was a planet similar to the original world, but with the addition of strange beasts and supernatural powers. I didn't expect that even the outside world was completely different. No wonder the city walls have to be built so thick and high. Isn't this environment the perfect living environment for alien beasts? Yi Chen still had doubts before. Humanity has developed for so many years and there are countless strong people. Why is the number of cities increasing slowly, and cities have almost no tendency to expand in area? Faced with such an environment, it would be extremely difficult to push forward at all, not to mention how many resources would be consumed to build the city wall defense. After the brief shock, Yi Chen also calmed down. He took out the D-class alloy spear from the energy storage bracelet and walked into the forest that looked like a man-eating beast. Since he had chosen this path, Yi Chen would not be scared away. Yi Chen also started to become cautious when entering the forest. Previously, Yi Chen had broken through to the second level of awakening very quickly. It is inevitable that I feel a little complacent in my heart, thinking that I can survive well in the wild. But when I actually came to the wild, I realized how weak I was now. Yi Chen concentrated his source energy on his legs, which he tried successfully when he first awakened. He could increase his speed and go deeper into the forest. After running for about half an hour, Yi Chen finally found the first strange beast, which was a wood beetle. It looks like a spanker from the previous life, but its body is as big as 2 basketballs. Its whole body is green and there are 2 thick carapaces on its back. When I found this wood beetle, it was lying on a tree. It was not resting, but eating. Yes, wood beetles like to eat the sap of trees, and their mouth is an extremely hard and slender mouthpart. Direct insertion into trees is also the main attack method of wood beetles. Yi Chen approached cautiously, attached the source energy to the spear, and stabbed it hard. I saw a lightning strike accurately hitting the wood beetle and nailing it to the tree. Ding! Successfully killed the wood beetle and gained 3 days of training time. After a successful attack, Yi Chen felt a little excited and quickly approached to check the body of the wood beetle. I saw a spear piercing it directly from the back. The back armor was shattered and a little charred, which was obviously the power of the meteorite thunder. It's so strong. This wood beetle should only be at the first level of awakening, but I can directly smash his back armor. If it were someone else, it would never be so easy. However, this blow consumed 1/5 of my source energy. The consumption is still a bit high, Yi Chen said. I've broken the carapace and mouthparts. This wood beetle is no longer valuable. You need to be more careful in the future. Because it was his first time to attack, Yi Chen also wanted to try out his supernatural power, so he hit it directly without using any skills. Yi Chen took back his spear and jumped to the top of a tree. He checked his surroundings and felt safe before he calmed down. Spend 3 days of training on the 9 Nether Thunder art. Yi Chen thought silently in his heart. In an instant, Yi Chen felt a powerful source of energy filling his body, but it was running in an orderly manner. Yi Chen's eyes flashed. I'm at the early stage of awakening to the 3rd level. I was at the peak of the 2nd level before. I've really made a breakthrough in the past 3 days of training. Yi Chen had already made plans in his mind. At this stage, the training time he gained was mainly used to improve his level. Moreover, if you spend these 3 days on the Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike, you may not be able to get through. For now, the priority is to increase your combat power. After the breakthrough, Yi Chen continued to search for low-level strange beasts in the forest. Soon Yi Chen encountered another wood beetle. This forest was a breeding ground for wood beetles, so it was normal to encounter one. But the one in front of me is stronger than the previous one, because its back armor is greener and its size is larger. Yi Chen still wanted to approach quietly and attack like before. Unexpectedly, just when Yi Chen was about to take action, the wood beetle moved first. I saw it quickly jumping down from the tree and rushing towards Yi Chen at an extremely fast speed, revealing its slender and sharp mouthparts. Yi Chen was still accumulating strength, but this time he was interrupted directly. Yi Chen hurriedly changed his moves and tried to block it. Yi Chen turned his spear. It would be difficult to block him directly this time, so he blocked his direction. Originally, this blow was coming straight to Yi Chen's door, but with Yi Chen's quick reaction, the blow almost grazed Yi Chen's cheek. Yi Chen quickly turned around and stared at the wood beetle, one person and one insect in a stalemate. After all, it was the wood beetle that took the lead and used the same trick to stab Yi Chen with its mouthparts. But this time Yi Chen was prepared. He wouldn't just bend down and hide away like before. How can you hide in the air? Yi Chen shook his hand suddenly and stabbed the spear directly into the abdomen of the wood beetle. Purple arcs of electricity flashed on the spear. Ding! Successfully killed the wood beetle and gained 20 days of training time. Sure enough, this one is stronger than the previous one, and it took a lot more time to practice. Yi Chen looked happy. Yi Chen looked at the wood beetle corpse. It's perfect this time, the mouthparts and carapace are not damaged. Fortunately, I know from the Alien Beast Illustrated book that the wood beetle's weak point is its abdomen. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to kill. Yi Chen had planned all this since the previous stalemate with the wood beetle, waiting for him to attack him first. Otherwise it wouldn't have exposed its belly. Yi Chen took out a small dagger based on the records in the Alien Beast Illustrated book. Don't underestimate this dagger, it was also forged from D-grade alloy. Yi Chen quickly disposed of the body and put the materials into the energy storage bracelet. This back armor and mouthparts are worth at least 1,000 alliance coins. It's really easy for a warrior to make money. Yi Chen was very happy. Then it's cheating time. Spend 20 days of training on the 9 Nether Thunder technique. Boom! A stronger power than before poured into Yi Chen's body, and lightning arcs continued to appear around Yi Chen, which was a sign of another breakthrough. I have made a breakthrough and have awakened to the 4th level. As expected, I still have to go to the wild to improve quickly. Yi Chen said excitedly. Just when Yi Chen was immersed in the joy of breakthrough, a green light struck Yi Chen from behind. Yi Chen did not react and was directly blown away. Fortunately, I'm wearing D-level armor, otherwise I would have been in serious trouble. Yi Chen touched the armor and said with lingering fear. Yi Chen got up from the ground, held the spear tightly, and kept scanning his surroundings. Until now, he didn't find what was attacking him. After a while, the thing didn't attack again. Yi Chen cautiously moved forward, pretending to leave. At this moment, the green light appeared again and rushed towards Yi Chen. This time Yi Chen was prepared. Yi Chen turned around and tried to dodge, but the speed was too fast and Yi Chen still took a hit. Yi Chen was a little nervous now, but he was prepared and didn't react this time. Yi Chen looked at his clothes and saw a hole in his clothes, revealing the armor inside. The green light seemed to realize that Yi Chen couldn't react, and attacked Yi Chen more and more frequently. After a while, Yi Chen's clothes were in tatters. Yi Chen also became angry and tore off the clothes outside the armor to reveal the armor underneath. Since you can't hide, then you won't hide. Yi Chen closed his eyes and began to feel. The green light appeared again, this time attacking Yi Chen's neck, just when it was about to attack Yi Chen. Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes, and his pupils turned light purple. I saw purple thunder and lightning lingering all over Yi Chen's body, and that green light was hit by lightning after all. The speed of the blue light instantly slowed down, revealing its true appearance. It turned out to be a snake, with green scales shining with a faint green light. Yi Chen punched it directly, but unfortunately it twisted his body and dodged it. It turns out to be an Aoki snake. Aoki snakes are all awakened to the 5th level or above. This one is probably at the 7th level and is extremely difficult to deal with. Why did I encounter it? Although Yi Chen said this, his eyes were fixed on it, and then he stepped back step by step to distance himself from him. Yi Chen didn't want to escape. He only had to distance himself, and the Aoki snake's distance from attacking him became further, so that Yi Chen had a chance to react. And once targeted by Aoki snake, he can't run away. Yi Chen and Qingmu snake kept a distance of about 6 or 7 meters, and Qingmu snake did not hide. It used to hide and attack just to play with its prey, but now that it was injured by Yi Chen, it started to become serious. He kept spitting out letters, exuding a dangerous aura. The green wood snake suddenly burst out. Yi Chen quickly raised his spear to block it. The spear collided with the green wood snake's fangs and sparks flew out. The Aoki snake does not emit venom, because the venom of the Aoki snake is very important to the Aoki snake. Although the toxin is very strong, once the green wood snake is shot, its vitality will be severely damaged. Yi Chen dodged and distanced himself from the green wood snake. After the previous consumption, Yi Chen's source energy was only about half. But Yi Chen didn't panic at all. He knew that he had to stay calm at this juncture. If he panicked, he might be killed by the Aoki snake. Yi Chen knew that he could not retreat anymore, he had to attack, otherwise he would be consumed to death. Yi Chen once again injected source energy into his spear and body, his speed increased a lot, and he attacked the Aoki snake. The green wood snake didn't hide either. In its eyes, Yi Chen was just struggling to his death. The Aoki snake twisted its body and turned into the shape of a spring. It bounced up and rushed toward Yi Chen. Yi Chen stabbed with his spear, and the lightning flashed, but the green wood snake dodged with a slight twist, and then rushed towards Yi Chen along the spear. Yi Chen seemed to have known for a long time that this blow would not hit. Yi Chen smiled slightly, let go directly, and then grabbed the Aoki snake's body. No matter how fast the green wood snake is, it can't escape from such a close distance. After Yi Chen grabbed the Aoki snake, he directly injected all the source energy of his body into this attack. I saw a thunderous light, and lightning bolts as thick as a finger were continuously released from Yi Chen's hand, bombarding the surrounding trees. The green wood snake was directly paralyzed by the electricity. It knew that this blow would probably kill him if he didn't fight hard. Even though it was electrocuted, it tightly wrapped around Yi Chen's arm, and then bit Yi Chen's palm, injecting poison into it. HMPH, let's see who can't hold on first. Yi Chen gritted his teeth and directly increased his strength. Ding, you successfully killed the green wood snake and gained 40 days of training time and 100 power points. The system's voice sounded in Yi Chen's mind. Yi Chen's lips turned purple, and he sat down on the ground with all his strength. Then Yi Chen quickly summoned the second S-level power. I saw the divine brewing gourd appearing in Yi Chen's hand. Yi Chen took a few sips of beetle brewing. The wine flowed out from the corner of Yi Chen's mouth, and a lot of it flowed out. Yi Chen lay weakly on the ground, breathing heavily. It took a while before Yi Chen recovered. Fortunately, the beetle brew has not been used up, otherwise I would have died here today. Yi Chen sat up slowly. This wilderness is really dangerous, we can't take it lightly. Yi Chen was still frightened. After recovering his electrical strength, Yi Chen directly put Qingmu snake's body into the energy storage bracelet. The whole body of the Aoki snake is useful, its fangs, snake skin, and snake gall are all good materials. There were traces of lightning strikes and flames everywhere. The noise of the fighting is too great. We need to leave quickly, otherwise we will be doomed if more powerful beasts appear later. Yi Chen quickly used the newly recovered energy. Not long after Yi Chen left, a fiery red figure appeared where Yi Chen had just been. The figure suddenly slapped its paw on the ground, and there was a roar, dust flew up, and big trees fell one after another. If Yi Chen was still here, he would definitely be frightened. Why would a warrior-level flaming wolf appear outside? Yi Chen did not go any further, put on another piece of clothing, blocked the armor, and went back along the original path. Fortunately, there were no accidents along the way. When Yi Chen returned to the city, he didn't dispose of the exotic beast materials in the bracelet and just found a hotel to stay at the station. Yi Chen took a shower, lay on the bed, and began to review today's battle. In the future, you must not use your training time directly in the wild. After all, training time does not directly increase your cultivation, but there is a process. And in today's battle, I have too few attack methods. I rely entirely on my supernatural powers. I'm going to find some combat skills to practice in the future. The level doesn't need to be high, just enough. Let's use these 40 days of cultivation time first before talking about the next 2. Use the 40 days of training on the Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike. Yi Chen thought silently in his heart. Yi Chen frowned and closed his eyes tightly. Countless marksmanship skills poured into Yi Chen's mind. After a while, Yi Chen came to his senses. Yi Chen sat on the bed and gasped for air. Big beads of sweat dripped down his cheeks and fell on the bed. But Yi Chen's eyes were full of surprise. Open the panel. Host: Yi Chen. Realm: Awakening Level 4. Superpowers: Heavenly Meteor Divine Thunder S level Divine Brewing Gourd S level. Kung Fu: 9 Nether Thunder Ju S level. Combat Skill: Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Introductory. PowerPoints: 100. Training Time: 0. Yi Chen looked at the panel. Sure enough, I'm getting started. These 40 days have been well spent. If Feng Lian were here, she would definitely be shocked. She can learn S-level supernatural combat skills in 40 days. The fastest she knows about geniuses is 3 months. System: How many ability points do I need to upgrade the Heavenly Meteor Divine Thunder? Ding, we need 1 million power points. Excuse me. Yi Chen looked at the string of zeros and rolled his eyes. I'm really tired after a busy day today, and with all the extra knowledge I just had in my mind, I'm already feeling dizzy. Yi Chen lay directly on the bed and fell asleep. The second day. Yi Chen got up early. Now his physical fitness is getting stronger and stronger. After a night's rest, he has recovered. After Yi Chen had breakfast, he went directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce, the same chamber of commerce that belonged to Chu Dian's family. When Yi Chen came to the Chu Chamber of Commerce, a beautiful woman wearing a cheongsam came to receive him. Hello, sir, may I help you? The cheongsam beauty asked softly. I'm here to sell some exotic beast materials. The cheongsam beauty's eyes lit up. She thought that at Yi Chen's age, he was here to buy something. I didn't expect that he was here to sell materials. He was probably a genius. Sir, please come this way. The beauty in cheongsam bent down and led Yi Chen to a reception room. Please wait a moment, an appraiser will come to receive the goods later. Yi Chen nodded. After a while, a middle-aged man in a suit, about 40 years old, walked in. Sir, can you take out the items you need to sell? Yi Chen waved his hand, and the body of a green wood snake and the materials for the wood beetle appeared on the table. The middle-aged man quickly observed carefully. Sir, this green wood snake is well preserved. We can offer 50,000 yuan. If you have venom, we can offer 100,000 yuan. In addition, we can collect the wood beetle materials for 1,000 yuan. The middle-aged man said. As the price difference so much, Yi Chen was a little confused. Even though the green wood snake was completely preserved and of a higher level, it shouldn't be so different from the wood beetle. Sir, you don't know, but the skin of this green wood snake is a luxury material. And snake gall has healing properties, you know. As he said that, he gave Yi Chen a look that any man would understand. Okay, let's sell it like this. Yi Chen smiled. It's a pleasure to cooperate. Sir, if you have something like this in the future, you should consider our Chu's trading company as soon as possible. The middle-aged man said with a smile. Do you sell combat skills here, such as footwork? Yi Chen asked. Of course, I don't know what level you need. C level is fine. This way please. The two went up to the second floor and came to a shelf with 3 books on combat skills. They are shifting steps, snake walks, and 7-star steps. Among them, 7-star steps is the most expensive, costing 1 million, while the other 2 are only 800,000. Yi Chen looked at the price and felt a little embarrassed. He didn't have much money now, and all the money he had went to buy equipment. The only thing he just sold was more than 50,000 yuan. The middle-aged man seemed to see Yi Chen's embarrassment. He said, our Chu's trading company accepts credit for geniuses like you, as long as you promise to give us priority for future exotic beast materials. Yi Chen's eyes lit up. There's such a good thing, aren't you afraid that I'll go back on my promise? I believe that no one at such a young age can kill the Aoki snake. Moreover, this is considered an investment. No one can guarantee that every investment will make money. The middle-aged man smiled. Yi Chen couldn't help but take another look at him. If the Chu family could have such a person as their manager, their future development would be good. Yi Chen nodded. I want this 7-star steps. You don't have to worry. Chu Tian and I are good friends, otherwise I wouldn't come to the Chu Chamber of Commerce to sell things. The middle-aged man's eyes showed a look of surprise. You know young Master Chu Tian, then you are the same age as him. Don't tell Fatty that I'm here. I didn't tell him that I came to the wilderness. Yi Chen said with a smile. Okay, but you still have to pay attention to safety. The middle-aged man said. Yi Chen waved his hand and left. The young master has made an amazing friend. He has only been awakened for a few days, and he can kill the greenwood snake. The greenwood snake is still at the 7th level of awakening. The middle-aged man was a little emotional, but he didn't say much. After all, if he is on good terms with his young master, and the Chu Chamber of Commerce will get better and better in the future, his life will naturally be better. Yi Chen did not go back to the hotel, but went directly outside the city to continue looking for strange beasts, but he was more cautious today. After a while, Yi Chen found a wood beetle. With yesterday's experience, it was easier to kill today. Before the wood beetle could rush over, Yi Chen stepped over and stabbed the wood beetle in the tail with a precise shot. The wood beetle was not stabbed, and then the gun tip was lifted, the wood beetle flew up directly, and then the wood beetle was skewered on the gun with one shot. Ding! Successfully killed the wood beetle and gained 5 days of training time. Next, Yi Chen killed 5 wood beetles one after another, gaining 30 days of training time. Yi Chen found a thicker tree, then used the Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike to blow a big hole in the tree, and jumped in as a tree house. Used 10 days of cultivation time on the 7-star steps and 20 days of cultivation time on the 9 nether thunder dew. There was another flash of lightning in the tree hole, and everything was blackened by lightning. Yi Chen stood up and walked out, only to see Yi Chen walking with strange steps. It seems to be getting closer, but also seems to be moving away. It seems that I can see clearly, but if I look closely, I can't see clearly. I have reached the peak of the 4th level of awakening. I am only a little bit away from breaking through. I have also entered the 7-star steps. Now when he encounters Aoki snake again, he will never be as embarrassed as before. Yi Chen clenched his fist, feeling his own strength. With the 7-star steps, the efficiency of hunting strange beasts will become higher and higher. From now on, the main focus will be on the 7-star steps and level. After all, with the 7-star steps, running is still guaranteed. Yi Chen thought. For the next week, Yi Chen killed strange beasts, sold materials, and slept every day. The exotic animals that are hunted are wood beetles and greenwood snakes. However, with the help of Kixingbu, Yi Chen was able to kill the greenwood snake without waiting for it to spray its venom. The number of exotic beasts being hunted every day has gradually increased in the past few days, and the 1 million owed to the Chu Chamber of Commerce was soon reduced to only 200,000. The manager was shocked when he learned about Yi Chen's growth rate, and repeatedly said that Yi Chen didn't have to rush to pay it back. He was afraid that something would happen to Yi Chen, but what he didn't know was that Yi Chen was no longer the same as before. As usual, Yi Chen returned to the hotel after selling the materials. Open the panel. Yi Chen thought silently in his mind. Host. Yi Chen. Realm. Awakening level 6. Superpowers. Heavenly Meteor Divine Thunder S level Divine Brewing Gourd S level. Kung Fu. 9 Nether Thunder Dew S level. Combat Skills. Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Basic 7-star Steps Xiao Cheng. PowerPoints. 1000. Training time. 4 months. Today's harvest is not bad. I killed 3 greenwood snakes and paid off the money I owed. There is still more than 100,000 yuan more. Yi Chen said with a faint smile. That's right, Yi Chen now gained about 4 months of training time from killing strange beasts in one day. Yi Chen did this under the principle of safety first. If he were more aggressive, it wouldn't be a problem to get half a year of training time. But Yi Chen didn't do this. Now he can practice one day as fast as others for 4 months. He is already far ahead. There is no need to take risks anymore. After all, with the system in hand, it can rise steadily, and there is no need to take risks. Add 2 months of training time to the 7-star steps and the 9 nether thunder art. In an instant, Yi Chen once again had a lot of experience in practicing the 7-star steps and a large amount of source energy in his mind. Break it. The veins on Yi Chen's forehead stood out, and purple lightning exploded instantly, damaging all the hotel's furnishings and leaving a mess everywhere. Finally a breakthrough. I've awakened to the 7th level, and I've made some progress in the 7-star steps. I'm not far from Dacheng. This feeling of becoming stronger is so good. Yi Chen had a look of excitement on his face, indulging in this rapidly growing power. It seems that I can try walking inside tomorrow. Now that the 7-star steps have become stronger, my speed has increased a lot, so there shouldn't be any problems. Yi Chen thought for a while. He couldn't stay on the periphery all the time. After a while, a hotel staff heard the movement in Yi Chen's room and came to inquire. Yi Chen looked at the environment of the room. He shook his head helplessly. It seems that we need to be more careful in the future. We can't lose control every time we break through and make such a big noise. In fact, this can't be blamed on Yi Chen. The main reason is that Yi Chen's heavenly meteor thunder is too powerful and is extremely domineering. And Yi Chen had only been awake for less than 10 days, so how could he control it? Yi Chen opened the door and said, "Something happened while we were practicing." "Nothing happened to me, but something happened to the room." Yi Chen asked the staff to enter the room, and the young man saw the situation in the room. "I was secretly shocked in my heart. The room is like this, but the person is still fine. How powerful is this? Sir, do you need us to change a room for you?" The staff member said cautiously. There was no such thing as driving Yi Chen away arrogantly just because he was young. Just kidding, although this staff member is young, he has worked in this hotel for a long time. You can't underestimate anyone here. Those who can survive here basically have some ability. If he provokes them, he may die without knowing why. Yi Chen took a look at the room and found that he really couldn't live in it. Go ahead and arrange a room for me. Ask someone to take a look at the damage to this room. Just charge the amount to my account. Hearing Yi Chen's words, the staff member breathed a sigh of relief and had a better attitude toward Yi Chen. Even he has never encountered someone who has such strong strength at such a young age and is so easy to talk to. Yi Chen didn't know what he was thinking. After paying 10,000 federal dollars to the hotel, he changed a room. The next day, Yi Chen went out early in the morning. This is the 5th one. Why have I walked for so long and only encountered wood beetles, not even green wood snakes? Yi Chen was a little dissatisfied. Just as Yi Chen was talking, the wood beetle on the tree had already stabbed Yi Chen with its sharp mouthparts. Yi Chen didn't panic at all and directly used the 7-star step. He only saw Yi Chen's feet moving slightly and hid away. Then with a single sting, the wood beetle was stabbed to its core. If you look carefully, you will find that when Yi Chen performs the 7-star steps, there are stars flickering under his feet. This is the sign of the completion of the 7-star steps, and the starlight is beginning to appear. Ding! Successfully killed the wood beetle and gained 7 days of training time. Yi Chen curled his lips and said, "It seems like you are not having much luck today." After Yi Chen put away the wood beetle's body, he walked directly into the depths without stopping. Something's wrong. This is already the 10th one. Could this be the territory of wood beetles? Yi Chen gently swung his spear and shook off the wood beetle on it. This was the first time Yi Chen had encountered the Aoki snake in so many days. He had always encountered the Aoki snake in the past. There would no longer be only wood beetles like today, and the frequency of encounters would also be somewhat higher. Yi Chen frowned. He felt that there might be something in front of him that attracted these wood beetles, otherwise such a situation would not be possible. Go forward and see what it is. If it doesn't work, just run away. Yi Chen made a decision. Yi Chen jumped forward in a few steps. He also saw some wood beetles on the road, but he did not kill them. Instead, he used the 7-star step to avoid them. With Yi Chen's mastery of the 7-star steps, as long as Yi Chen was determined, it would be impossible for these wood beetles to discover him. The reason why he didn't kill them was because he always felt that there was something in front of him, so he killed these wood beetles at this time. The smell of blood may be more variable, and it's already getting late. If we delay any longer, it may be night. The forest at night is much scarier than during the day. It would be better if some people have awakened their night vision ability, otherwise their eyes will be completely black. It's not that the Federation doesn't have night vision devices for sale, but they encountered some fast strange beasts. Night vision devices are also difficult to capture. It may be better when the technology matures in the future, but Yi Chen has no plans to spend the night in the forest. Not long after Yi Chen walked forward, he found that there were more and more wood beetles, and he noticed that there was a buzzing sound coming from the front. Yi Chen slowed down and jumped onto a high branch of the tree. He did not continue walking forward on the ground and began to lean forward cautiously. After a while, Yi Chen pushed aside the huge leaves in front of him and finally saw the source of the sound. What caught the eye was a wood beetle that was all green, but this green was different from the green of ordinary wood beetles. The carapace of this wood beetle is like emerald, with a little fluorescence. The carapace is somewhat transparent, but you can't see what is underneath the carapace. There were 20 or 30 wood beetles scattered around this wood beetle, guarding the special one in the middle. Wood Beetle King. Yi Chen was a little surprised. No wonder there are so many wood beetles outside. It turns out it is really the territory of wood beetles. This Wood Beetle King is probably at the level of a warrior. Yi Chen hesitated. If he could kill this wood beetle, he would definitely gain huge benefits. If it were a one-on-one fight, Yi Chen would still be somewhat confident. After all, although this Wood Beetle King is at the warrior level, wood beetles are good at defense after all, and their attacks are not that strong. With Yi Chen's 7-star steps and gradual detours, it shouldn't be a problem to kill this Wood Beetle King. After all, when Yi Chen awakened to the 4th level, he was already able to kill the green wood snake that had awakened to the 7th level. Moreover, Yi Chen did not have the 7-star steps and Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike at that time, not to mention that the green wood snake was much stronger than the wood beetle at the same level. But now it's not just the Wood Beetle King, there are 20 or 30 ordinary wood beetles around, many of whom have awakened to the 7th or 8th level. Just when Yi Chen was still hesitating, the wood beetle suddenly moved, revealing what was behind it. Konoha. Yi Chen's eyes widened. No wonder this Wood Beetle King appears here. It turns out there is a wood leaf flower. Yi Chen suddenly realized. Konoha is a natural treasure with wood properties and has strong therapeutic effects. Martial arts masters and below can almost make flesh and bones of living and dead people, and if someone with wood attributes takes it, it can also slightly improve that person's qualifications. You must know that in this world, the qualifications are almost certain after awakening the talent, but there are still some heavenly materials and earthly treasures with incredible effects that can improve the qualifications and even the level of superpowers. And this Wood Beetle King is here because practicing next to the Konoha flower can speed up its practice. If you can get this Konoha flower, even though Yi Chen is not of the wood attribute. But if it is auctioned, it will be worth at least 2 million. Don't underestimate the rich people in this world. 2 million is just a drop in the bucket for them. It's done. Yi Chen had already made up his mind when he saw the Konoha flower. He wanted to gain wealth in danger, not to mention that Yi Chen didn't have no chance. Yi Chen did not attack immediately, but slowly adjusted his breathing and restored his energy. He had consumed some energy while rushing. This wave of capturing Konoha flowers requires the best preparation. Yi Chen carefully used 7-star steps to jump to the trunk of the tree where the wood beetle was, without making a sound. After landing on the tree trunk, Yi Chen looked down and could just see the Konoha flower and the Wood Beetle King. I wonder if this Wood Beetle King has ever seen a spear technique that falls from the sky. Yi Chen raised the corner of his mouth. Thunder Dragon breaks the sky. Yi Chen shouted softly and jumped down from the tree. Lightning flashed with both feet, and he kicked hard, directly breaking the tree trunk Yi Chen was standing on. Yi Chen was like a streak of purple lightning, falling from the sky, and a faint dragon roar came from the gun head. Yi Chen used almost half of his source energy in this shot, and the target was the Wood Beetle King. The speed of this blow was extremely fast. In almost 1 second, Yi Chen had already hit the back of the Wood Beetle King. In an instant, countless purple thunder and lightning were emitted from the center of the impact point of the gun. Some low-level and ordinary wood beetles around were directly electrocuted to death. Many kill notifications sounded in Yi Chen's mind in an instant, but Yi Chen didn't have time to check, so he jumped away. When the smoke dissipated, it was seen that the Wood Beetle King was almost uninjured. Sure enough, this blow can't kill it, but I've got the thing. Yi Chen smiled. That's right, Konoha has been captured by Yi Chen, and the Wood Beetle King and Konoha are already close to each other. With the power of Yi Chen's Thunder Dragon sky-breaking strike just now, although it did not directly hit the Konoha flower, the aftermath of the explosion was enough to shatter the Konoha flower. Yi Chen was not that stupid. When the gun was about to hit the Wood Beetle King, Yi Chen directly used the energy storage bracelet to collect the Konoha Obito. Yi Chen's original goal was the Konoha flower, not the Wood Beetle King. I saw the Wood Beetle King turning towards the place where the explosion occurred, and found no trace of Konoha, only a big pit. Squeak! The Wood Beetle King made a fierce and harsh cry. The surrounding wood beetles also chirped, as if in response to something. Yi Chen frowned, and then directly used 7-star steps to prepare to run away. Seeing that Yi Chen wanted to run away, the surrounding wood beetles directly attacked Yi Chen together. Ha! Looking for death. Purple lightning began to appear all over Yi Chen, and his pupils turned lavender. Yi Chen raised his spear and instead of stabbing the wood beetles, he blasted them directly into the ground. Blast it for me. As Yi Chen's words fell, purple lightning suddenly blasted out with Yi Chen as the center. I saw those wood beetles being directly shot down by the purple thunder in the air. Black smoke continued to emit, and there was also a burning smell, which was quite pleasant. With the death of the wood beetle, the system prompt of killing appeared again in Yi Chen's mind. Fighting, it's fun. Listening to the system sounds, Yi Chen couldn't say that he felt happy at this moment. Suddenly, the Wood Beetle King rushed towards Yi Chen. Its momentum was much stronger than those of ordinary wood beetles. Yi Chen ducked down to avoid the blow. The Wood Beetle King hit the tree behind Yi Chen. With a bang, the tree was directly interrupted. Yi Chen was a little surprised, the attack is so strong. Yi Chen didn't expect this Wood Beetle King to be so lethal. Yi Chen put on a defensive posture. If he was hit, it would be uncomfortable even if he had D-level armor. The Wood Beetle King attacked Yi Chen again, and Yi Chen directly used 7-star steps to avoid it. Then he suddenly stabbed towards its abdomen. As long as it is a wood beetle, its weak point is in its abdomen. Seeing that this blow was about to hit, Yi Chen was also a little excited, wondering what a warrior-level wood beetle could explode. What? Yi Chen's pupils shrank. Just when the blow was about to hit, the Wood Beetle King suddenly changed its direction and dodged the blow. Yi Chen quickly jumped back in 2 vertical steps to distance himself from the Wood Beetle King. The Wood Beetle King did not fall to the ground, but stayed in the air. It turns out there are wings underneath the back armor, so you can fly. Yi Chen saw clearly the movement of the Wood Beetle King. The thing that could not be seen clearly under the previously transparent carapace was a pair of wings. This is a bit difficult to deal with. How can we hit him in the abdomen? Yi Chen murmured. The Wood Beetle King kept attacking Yi Chen, and Yi Chen could only keep using 7-star steps to dodge. However, he had used the Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike twice before, which consumed a lot of source energy. Now there is not much source energy left in the body, and the speed has also slowed down. Gradually, many scars appeared on Yi Chen's face and legs. Although he had armor on his body, there was no armor on his face or legs. If we keep fighting like this, we really won't be able to escape today. Yi Chen kept blocking, but the scars on his body continued to increase. Let's fight. There is only about 1/10 of the source energy in the body. If we delay any longer, there will be no chance at all. Yi Chen made up his mind. Yi Chen directly activated the little source energy in his body, and instead of attacking, he used the 7-star step to retreat. System, add all my training time to the 7-star steps. Suddenly, countless cultivation knowledge poured into Yi Chen's mind. Yi Chen closed his eyes and felt that his headache was splitting and about to explode. The Wood Beetle King would not miss such a good opportunity and flew directly towards this side from a distance, leaving only a green light behind. The wood beetle unfolded its long mouthparts and stabbed at Yi Chen's head. If it was hit, Yi Chen would definitely die. Yi Chen's mind was like a ball of mush at the moment, with no extra thoughts at all. Just when the Wood Beetle King's mouthparts were about to hit Yi Chen's head, Yi Chen opened his eyes and disappeared. The wood beetle king's attack was so fast that it didn't even stop the car, but directly pierced the tree behind it. The wood beetle king turned around and looked at Yi Chen blankly. It didn't know why this human suddenly disappeared when it was about to stab the human in front of it. But alien beasts are just alien beasts after all, and their IQ is still not very high. The wood beetle king flew towards Yi Chen again, and its target was still Yi Chen's head. Yi Chen didn't move, but when the wood beetle king's mouthparts were only about 10 centimeters away from Yi Chen moved. 7 stars appeared under his feet, and Yi Chen took a strange step to avoid the blow. Immediately afterwards, Yi Chen shot back with a carbine, stabbing the wood beetle king in the abdomen with perfect accuracy. After the spear was thrust out, the last trace of source energy in Yi Chen's body was exhausted. Yi Chen sat down on the ground, breathing heavily, his forehead covered with sweat. Ding, you successfully killed the wood beetle king and gained 5 months of training time, 1000 power points, and sea-level wood spirit armor. Big bang. Yi Chen had an excited smile on his face. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Awakening level 7. Superpowers, Heavenly Meteor Divine Thunder S level Divine Brewing Gourd S level. Kung Fu, 9 Nether Thunder Ju S level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Introductory 7-star Steps Advanced. Power Points, 2000. Training Time, 5 months. That's right, Yi Chen's 7-star steps have already been completed, but he didn't have much source energy just now. Only by spending his training time on the 7-star steps would he have a chance. Yi Chen was betting on whether the training time gained by killing ordinary wood beetles would be enough to complete the 7-star steps. Of course, the final result was that Yi Chen won the bet. This time he not only succeeded in the 7-star steps, obtained the Konoha flower, but also killed the wood beetle king. Yi Chen opened his energy storage bracelet and found a green armor lying inside. Yi Chen took it out, took off his original armor, and put on the wood spirit armor. I saw Yi Chen put on the wood spirit armor, and a faint green light enveloped Yi Chen. It feels good. Yi Chen let out a comfortable groan. System, what is the effect of this wood spirit armor? Yi Chen was a little confused. Why do I feel like my energy recovery speed has become faster after putting on the wood spirit armor? Wood spirit armor. Sea-level armor, with the characteristic of accelerated recovery. Yi Chen's eyes widened, full of surprise. It actually has special features, including accelerated recovery. It's perfect for a high-cost attack like mine. As far as Yi Chen knows, if equipment wants to have special characteristics, only if the forging materials are special and must be forged in a special forging method can it be possible to forge equipment with special characteristics. And this possibility is very low, so the equipment with special characteristics on the market is basically priceless. It was robbed as soon as it was released, and its value was several times higher than equipment of the same level. I made a lot of money this time. Although it was dangerous, it was very rewarding. Sure enough, wealth can be found in danger. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. After Yi Chen rested here for a while, about half of the source energy in his body was restored. Yi Chen stood up, collected the body of the wood beetle king, and walked back along the original path using Dacheng's 7-star steps. There were no dangers encountered along the way, and even if they were, it would be easy to run away with Yi Chen's 7-star steps. When Yi Chen returned to the city, he went directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce without going back to the hotel. Yi Chen comes here almost every day. When people in the store saw Yi Chen, they directly notified their manager. Their manager had told him to notify him directly if Yi Chen came over. Yi Chen came to the reception room with these and sat quietly, constantly thinking about how much these things were worth. After a while, a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes walked in. Mr. Yi, why are you here so early today? The middle-aged man said with a smile. Manager Zhao, you just told me to just call me Yi Chen. If Chu Tian knew that you called me Mr. Yi all day long, Chu Tian wouldn't be able to beat me. Yi Chen joked. Yi Chen has been selling materials here for a week, and he has learned about the situation from time to time. The manager of the Chu family is called Zhao Hai. He is a good friend of Chu Tian's father and the mainstay of the Chu family Chamber of Commerce. Chu Tian has always called Zhao Hai Uncle Zhao. Ha 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 ha, then I won't be too polite to you. If you don't mind, Just call me Uncle Zhao from now on. Yi Chen, a genius, took the initiative to build a closer relationship, so naturally he would not refuse. Then I'll be disrespectful. Yi Chen smiled. Uncle Zhao, I hunted some good things today. Please help me find out how much they are worth. Yi Chen waved his hand, and a pile of wood beetle corpses appeared next to him. Zhao Hai raised his eyebrows. There were at least 30 in this pile. Yi Chen had only been out for a short time today and he had hunted so many of them, and they were all in good condition. These are probably worth about 50,000 yuan. Zhao Hai did not hesitate because they were cheap goods, but instead gave a preferential price. If other chambers of commerce would charge these things, they might only cost around 30 to 40,000. Yi Chen smiled slightly and said nothing. Then he waved his hand and the body of a wood beetle king appeared on the table. This time Zhao Hai showed a look of emotion on his face. This was the warrior level wood beetle king. Although I have seen some, this is the first time that such a young person has sold it to me. Zhao Hai looked at Yi Chen carefully and found that there were some scars on Yi Chen's face and legs. Xiao Bai, go get a healing medicine. Zhao Hai said to the door. Are you okay? This is the warrior level wood beetle king. Why are you hunting this level of strange beasts? If you are short of money, just tell Uncle Zhao. Uncle Zhao still has some savings. Zhao Hai showed a worried look. Yi Chen scratched his head and said, I'm fine, Uncle Zhao. I just happened to encounter him and couldn't hide, so we started fighting. After a while, a woman wearing a cheongsam came in with a box. Zhao Hai took the box and handed it to Yi Chen. This is snow ginseng ointment. It is very effective in treating trauma. Take it back and remember to use it. Yi Chen didn't show any pretense, nodded and took the box. Zhao Hai carefully observed the wood beetle king. The carapace and mouthparts of this wood beetle king are complete, and there is also a complete spiritual core inside. Zhao Hai pushed up his glasses and said with some surprise. Our Chu's trading company can accept it for 400,000 yuan. Zhao Hai was a little excited. Alien beasts above the warrior level may have spiritual cores in their bodies, and the spiritual cores contain extremely pure source energy. People with superpowers can directly absorb it and use it when making breakthroughs, which often has miraculous effects. Zhao Hai has received many strange beasts above the warrior level in recent years, but he has not received many spiritual cores. Although the price of the spiritual core is not very high, it is very rare, and it can increase the chance of breaking the mirror. Many people are willing to spend a lot of money to buy this chance. Zhao Hai can definitely use this spiritual core as a gimmick to attract a large number of customers to participate in this Chu's auction. Uncle Zhao, don't worry, there is something else. Yi Chen waved his hand again, and a green flower appeared next to it. This is Konoha. You actually found Konoha. Zhao Hai's voice increased a lot, and he quickly bent down to observe carefully. Yi Chen did not disturb Zhao Hai. Judging from Zhao Hai's reaction, Yi Chen was sure that the price of this Konoha flower must be good. He just sat quietly beside it. We can auction this Konoha flower without charging you a handling fee. What do you think? Zhao Hai raised his head and said to Yi Chen excitedly. Zhao Hai was originally very interested in this spiritual core, but when Yi Chen took out the Konoha flower, the spiritual core was not worth mentioning. If this auction was held with the blessing of this Konoha flower, it would be enough to raise the name of the Chu Chamber of Commerce to a higher level. The Chu family can only be regarded as a small family next to this residence. If there is this auction, the Chu family may reach a higher level. I showed it to Uncle Zhao. Naturally, it was sold to the Chu Chamber of Commerce. Just do as Uncle Zhao said. Ha 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 ha, Yi Chen, these things of yours will be of great use to the Chu Chamber of Commerce's auction. Zhao Hai smiled heartily. Auction. Yi Chen was a little confused. In 7 days, the Chu Chamber of Commerce will hold an auction. This is an invitation letter. You can come and take a look. There might be something you want, he said and handed an invitation letter to Yi Chen. Yi Chen took the invitation and agreed, okay, I'll come over and have a look when the time comes, and then I'll go back first. Okay, the money for the Wood Beetle King and Wood Beetle materials will be given to you first, and the auction will be given to you after the auction. Zhao Hai said. Okay, Uncle Zhao can arrange it. Yi Chen nodded. Soon Yi Chen received 500,000 yuan from the sale of materials, which was originally only 450,000 yuan. Yi Chen knew that the extra 50,000 yuan was arranged by Zhao Hai. Yi Chen didn't go to ask, he accepted it calmly. Yi Chen is willing to sell rare materials at the Chu Chamber of Commerce, and the Chu Chamber of Commerce is also willing to give Yi Chen a higher price, which is a mutually beneficial thing. After saying goodbye to Zhao Hai, Yi Chen returned to the hotel. Today's battle made Yi Chen a little tired, although the final result was good. But the process was still very dangerous. If he hadn't woken up at the last moment, he would have died. You can take a good rest in the next few days. These days, Yi Chen has been hunting strange beasts in the wild every day, although Yi Chen's actual combat experience is increasing rapidly. But fighting does not mean that you are good just by fighting all the time. You still need to combine work and rest, and review the situation well. If you do not absorb combat experience, it will be useless no matter how much you fight. There are still 5 months of training time. Now that the 7-star steps have been completed, 5 months spent on the Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike may not be enough to achieve a small breakthrough. Moreover, the Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike consumes too much. Breaking through will not improve the current situation very much. You can simply use it all to improve your cultivation level. Break through to the warrior level as soon as possible, and you will be more confident in the college entrance examination. Yi Chen thought carefully. This time Yi Chen learned wisely and found a room with a training room. The price was also very good, 2,000 a day. When he came to practice, Yi Chen said silently in his heart, "Spend all your practice time on the 9 Nether Thunder Ju." A large wave of pure source energy poured into Yi Chen's body. I would have known it would last me month after month. Yi Chen's eyes were red and he said in pain. The energy continued to rush through Yi Chen's body, causing Yi Chen to scream in pain, and finally Yi Chen couldn't hold on anymore and fainted. I don't know how long it took before Yi Chen gradually woke up. Feeling the surging power in his body, Yi Chen showed a satisfied smile. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Awakening Level 9. Superpowers, Heavenly Meteor Divine Thunder S Level Divine Brewing Gourd S Level. Kung Fu, 9 Nether Thunder Ju S Level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Introductory 7-star Steps Advanced. PowerPoints, 2000. Training time, 0. I have awakened to the 9th level. I am only 1 step away from becoming a warrior. Yi Chen was a little excited. I'll ask senior sister Feng Lian how to use the Thunder Bead when the time comes. Yi Chen didn't forget that he still had an extremely precious Thunder Bead. After 2 days of rest, we will go to the wild again. We should seize the time to break through to the warrior before the auction. After attending the auction, we will go back directly. I have been out for just over 2 weeks, and the college entrance examination is just over a week away. I still have to go back to school to take a look at the specific situation. Yi Chen thought for a while and arranged his future itinerary. Yi Chen originally wanted to stay in the wild for 3 weeks or a month. But judging from the current situation, he will soon break through to the level of a warrior. If a warrior breaks through and goes to the wild, he may have to go deeper to achieve better improvement. If he went deeper, Yi Chen would definitely not be able to go back and forth in the same day, and there would not be enough time to travel. If you want to spend the night in the wild, it's best to go with a group. It's still a bit difficult to do it alone. If Yi Chen had to spend the night in the wild, it might still be a bit dangerous for Yi Chen to rely solely on the 7-star steps and Thunder Dragon breaking Sky Strike. In addition, Yi Chen had no experience in spending nights in the wild, so it would be easy for him to get into an accident alone. After all, the death rate at night was 10 times that of the day. Oh, by the way, now that I have awakened to the 9th level, can my divine wine gourd be used to brew other wines? Yi Chen scratched his head. If Shen Nian Gulu was conscious, he would have fainted in the toilet from crying. For so long, except Baikao Niang, Yi Chen has almost never used divine brew gourd. Yi Chen had tried it before when he first awakened. At that time, the divine brewing gourd could only brew Baikao Niang and strengthening wine. It took a week to brew the energy-enhancing wine. After that, Yi Chen went directly to the wild, and Yi Chen did not use the source energy on the divine brewing gourd. But I have to say that the few times I used it played a big role. The first time, Yi Chen used Baikao brewing to treat Yi Qingyao. The second time he was poisoned while fighting the Aoki snake. It was also a critical moment and he almost died. Yi Chen flipped his right hand, and the divine wine gourd appeared in his hand. Yi Chen closed his eyes and poured his own energy into it. This time Yi Chen wanted to brew a strengthening wine, and saw the faint light of the divine brewing gourd getting brighter and brighter. After about 10 minutes, the source energy in Yi Chen's body was almost exhausted, and fine beads of sweat gradually appeared on Yi Chen's head. Finally, the divine brewing gourd flashed violently and then fell into silence. Almost source energy is not enough. If you awaken to the 9th level, you can only brew strength wine. Yi Chen let out a breath. Yi Chen used up all the source energy in his body to brew approximately 1 kilogram. When Yi Chen brewed Baikao Niang before, he directly brewed a gourd, which was at least 5 kilograms. Yi Chen didn't pay attention and directly picked up the gourd and took a sip. The tonic wine had a light golden color and a rich and mellow taste. It slid directly into Yi Chen's throat and didn't feel spicy at all. It tastes delicious. I spent all my energy to brew it. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. Just when Yi Chen was still sighing about the energy-boosting wine, Yi Chen felt his stomach begin to burn. This burning sensation began to spread from the abdomen to the whole body, and Yi Chen's body also turned red, like a ripe prawn. Yi Chen took off his clothes directly and only wore a pair of large underpants. It's so hot. This wine is really not simple. Yi Chen put his hands on the ground and endured it hard. His body not only felt a burning sensation, but also began to be accompanied by a stinging pain like needles. But the pain was not so painful that Yi Chen couldn't bear it. It just made Yi Chen very uncomfortable and he could feel every inch of his body soberly. Yi Chen just didn't stop and drank all the remaining wine in the gourd. The burning and stinging became more intense. Yi Chen kept rolling around in the training room. After a while, Yi Chen felt that he couldn't do it anymore, so he rushed to the bathroom and turned on the cold water to his body. After about an hour, Yi Chen's skin gradually returned to its normal color, and the burning and stinging sensation gradually disappeared. Yi Chen rinsed his body and walked out of the bathroom. When my body became hot just now, my sense of my body seemed to be much stronger, and I could feel the changes in my body keenly. Yi Chen was a little unsure. Yi Chen stood in front of the mirror and found that his skin had turned a lot whiter. The scars from the previous battle with the Wood Beetle King have also healed, leaving only a faint trace, and there is no need to use the snow ginseng cream Zhao Hai gave him. Yi Chen estimated that if he took it again, there wouldn't be any scars left at all. The effect of using this product to whiten and eliminate scars would be amazing. If it were packaged and sold, I don't know how many women would fight for it. But of course Yi Chen would not sell the energy-enhancing wine as a skincare product. The effect of the energy-enhancing wine is not just for whitening. Yi Chen clenched his fist, waved his fist vigorously, and then jumped a few times. My physical strength has increased a lot. Although it is not a leap forward, I can feel the changes in my body. If there is a physical training method, it would be twice the result with half the effort if combined with the bodybuilding wine, and the strength of the bodybuilding wine will become stronger and stronger depending on the source energy I inject. There is not only one path for people with superpowers in this world. After all, the majority of people in this world have low-level superpowers. Among them, there are many people with amazing talents and extraordinary talents. They have pioneered the path of body training, but body training is extremely difficult and the speed of practice is also very slow. Some people who are successful in body refining can fight against strange beasts entirely with their physical bodies, and they are not inferior when facing those with the same level of powers. Moreover, body refining also has some help in the cultivation of superpowers. There is a place where source energy is stored in the dantian of a person with superpowers, called the source sea. The cultivation of a superpower is a process of continuously increasing the source energy. As he cultivates, his source sea will also expand. However, the expansion of the source sea of each realm has a limit, and it cannot grow infinitely. When your source sea cannot continue to expand, this is the bottleneck to break through to the next big realm. Whether you can break through the bottleneck depends on your qualifications, power level, source energy quality, cultivation techniques, etc. And body training is the training of the physical body. It cannot directly let you break through the bottleneck. But it can improve your body, allowing you to store some source energy in your body in places other than the source sea, thereby increasing your source energy reserves. The thunder beads given to him by Feng Lian also had a similar effect, but instead of increasing the capacity of storing source energy, it improved the quality of the source energy. Therefore, treasures such as thunder beads were rare to find. For Yi Chen, body training can not only improve his combat power, but also make it less painful for him to use his training time to practice, which is killing two birds with one stone. I have to pay attention to this aspect of training from now on. At least I have to make sure I drink the bodybuilding wine every day. With the bodybuilding wine, I have a unique advantage in body training, and I can't waste it. Body training consumes a lot of resources, and it is practiced through specially configured body training potions and body training techniques. Therefore, there are very few people in this world who take the path of body training. After all, he would only consider taking this path if his power level is low, but does he have so many resources to practice? Only some rich second generations with poor qualifications have enough resources to squander. Those with high psychic levels do not want to waste too much energy on this body training, as it is not cost effective. He only needs to follow the path of being a superpower to become a strong person. But Yi Chen doesn't have such troubles. He can gain training time by killing strange beasts, and he also has treasures such as strengthening wine. He has both training time and training resources, and he has enough energy to pursue the path of body training without delaying the training of his superpower. It seems that I will have to kill more strange beasts in the future. Now I have to take two paths at the same time, and the need for training time is greater. Yi Chen touched his chin and said, "Then we won't rest. We will go outside the city tomorrow and kill more strange beasts to get more time to practice before leaving." Early the next morning, Yi Chen put on the wood spirit armor and went directly to the outside of the city. When he was wearing D-level armor before, he had blocked many attacks for Yi Chen without being damaged. Now that he is wearing C-level armor, it is even more impossible to break through warrior-level beasts, not to mention the feature of accelerated recovery. Change the direction today and avoid the direction where the Wood Beetle King was found before. Alien beasts still have territories. The place where the Wood Beetle King used to be was where the wood beetles gathered. Nowadays, wood beetles pose almost no threat to Yi Chen. Ordinary wood beetles contribute too little time to Yi Chen's cultivation, which Yi Chen no longer sees in his eyes. Moreover, there are generally not two natural treasures in the same area, just like the principle that one mountain cannot tolerate two tigers. The treasures of heaven, materials and earth are powerful, and the source energy required to breed them is also very large. The source energy in one area is not enough to support two. Yi Chen also wanted to try his luck and wanted to see if he could meet one again. What's more, Yi Chen has now awakened to the 9th level and can go further. Yi Chen ran directly in the opposite direction. After the breakthrough, Yi Chen rushed faster, and the energy consumed by rushing was not worth mentioning to Yi Chen. Yi Chen encountered several wood beetles and green wood snakes along the way, none of which were of very high levels. After Yi Chen used the 7-star step of Dacheng, he easily killed him and gained 3 months of training time. Yi Chen was like a headless fly scurrying around in the forest, but he couldn't find any trace of the heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Hey, it seems that not everyone can encounter the heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Just when Yi Chen was a little disappointed, suddenly Yi Chen heard a loud noise, and the birds suddenly started. The sound came from that direction. Go and have a look. Yi Chen looked forward and ran forward quickly. After a while, Yi Chen came to the place where the sound came from. There was a huge lake with smoke and dust below. Yi Chen stood quietly on the tree and observed the situation. When the smoke dissipated, it turned out that there was a fight between a ground pig and a green-eyed crocodile. It seems that the two alien beasts are competing for territory. This lake is an excellent habitat. Both alien beasts are at the warrior level. It seems that the green-eyed crocodile has the upper hand. The green-eyed crocodile still has an advantage near the water. There are already many scars on the body of the groundbreaking pig. I saw the ground-cracking pig kicking hard on the ground, splashing a large amount of dust, and arching towards the green-eyed crocodile with its thick fangs, trying to overturn the green-eyed crocodile. But the green-eyed crocodile would not sit still and wait for death. The green-eyed crocodile flicked its tail and hit the ground-cracking pig on the head, causing it to stagger and fall to the side. The green-eyed crocodile did not miss this opportunity to attack. It opened its mouth wide and a jet of water spurted out from its mouth, blasting towards the ground-splitting pig. But the earth-splitting pig is not a fuel-efficient lamp. A layer of armor made of soil suddenly appeared on his body. This blow also hit the ground-cracking pig firmly, and its armor was also shattered. The earth-splitting pig attacked again, still heading towards the green-eyed crocodile, and the green-eyed crocodile flicked its tail again, trying to use the same move. But this time, just when the ground-splinter pig was about to enter the attack range of the green-eyed crocodile, it suddenly stopped and avoided the blue-eyed crocodile's tail. Then the earth-splitting pig stepped hard on the ground, and a violent wave spread from its feet. I saw a thorn suddenly rush out from the abdomen of the green-eyed crocodile, directly knocking the green-eyed crocodile away. Now, Yi Chen seized this fleeting opportunity and jumped up from the tree. The green-eyed crocodile exposed its weak belly when it was in the air, and Yi Chen directly penetrated his leather armor with a Thunder Dragon sky-breaking strike. After succeeding in one blow, Yi Chen did not stop and directly used Dacheng's 7-star step. He turned around and came to the back of the earth-splitting pig, and suddenly stabbed out at the place where the green-eyed crocodile had just bombarded. Yi Chen had already discovered before that although the attack of the green-eyed crocodile seemed to be blocked by the earth-splitting pig's earth armor. But in fact, not all of them are blocked. Just now, the earth armor was shattered by this attack, and part of the attack still landed on the ground-cracking pig's body. Yi Chen also believed that it was impossible for Earth-Splitter Pig to use earth armor again in such a short period of time. Sure enough, just as Yi Chen expected, Yi Chen stabbed the earth-splitting pig through the ground with ease with a flashing purple thunder spear. Ding, you successfully killed the green-eyed crocodile and gained 6 months of training time and 1,500 power points. Ding, you successfully killed the earth-shattering pig and gained 6 months of training time and 1,500 power points. Now I have gained a year of training time. Sure enough, the last-ditch attack is faster. But it's a pity that neither of them exploded with special items. But it's not bad to have such a gain, Yi Chen said with some joy. If I hadn't taken action in the end, the green-eyed crocodile would have been killed by the earth-splitter pig. Although the green-eyed crocodile had the upper hand at the beginning, no one can underestimate him in the wild. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. Yi Chen waved his hand, and the bodies of the 2 strange beasts disappeared. These 2 strange beasts were both at the warrior level. Moreover, they were stronger than the wood beetle king, and the materials on them were naturally more valuable. Yi Chen estimated that these 2 strange beasts could be sold for at least 1 million or more. Just when Yi Chen was about to leave, suddenly there was a sound breaking through the air behind him. Now that Yi Chen has taken the energy drink, his body's perception ability has become much stronger. When he heard the sound, Yi Chen quickly used 7-star steps to avoid it. A loud bang sounded behind Yi Chen. Yi Chen touched his face and found that he had not completely avoided the blow and his face was scratched. Could there be other strange beasts around like me, wanting to reap the benefits? Just when Yi Chen was still confused, 3 people walked out from behind the tree. There were 2 men and 1 woman, all 3 were dressed similarly and looked dusty. The woman held a bow in her hand, and the man held a large knife with blood stains on it. Another masked man stood behind the 2 of them. Yi Chen couldn't see the weapon in the masked man's hand. But Yi Chen had a vague feeling that this masked man was the most dangerous among the 3. This man looked at Yi Chen like a poisonous snake, staring at him making Yi Chen's scalp numb and his hairs standing on end. The blow just now should have been the woman's attack. Judging from the attack strength, it was definitely at the warrior level. 3 warriors, it's a bit difficult to deal with now. The noise at that time should have attracted them. What bad luck, Yi Chen cursed secretly. Chapter 31. I'm so sorry, little brother, I thought it was some kind of strange beast. The arrow just now didn't hurt you, right? The woman showed a charming smile without any apology on her face. Of course Yi Chen knew that she said this on purpose. As an archer, how could he attack without seeing his prey? It's okay, it just feels like a mosquito bite. Yi Chen pointed at a small trace of blood on his face and said with a smile. HMPH, what a mosquito bite. At this moment, the face of the woman holding a bow and arrow had darkened. After all, he is also a warrior. He has been wandering in the wilderness for many years. This is the first time he has been ridiculed by such a young kid. Her eyes were like cold poisonous snakes, as if she wanted to eat Yi Chen alive. Boy, did you see what happened here? The sound just came from here. If you have anything, hand it over as soon as possible. The man with a big knife in his hand and a scar on his face said arrogantly. I don't know about that. The sound came from the lake. Maybe it's in this lake. I just came here. Do you want to go down and have a look? Yi Chen said. Yi Chen would naturally not tell him the truth. This lake was very big and there was definitely more than just blue-eyed crocodiles in it. If they really listened to Yi Chen and went down to look for it, Yi Chen would naturally be happy to see it. Boy, you'd better not lie to us. It's normal for everyone to die in the wild, the scarred man said ferociously. Fortunately, he didn't see Yi Chen taking away the ground splinter pig and green-eyed crocodile. If he had seen it, he would have taken action right now. Of course I don't dare to lie to you. There are 3 of you, and I am just a little Karami who is not a warrior. How dare you? Yi Chen deliberately gave in, but the expression on his face was still a little too stiff. In that case, then you should lead the way and we will go there together. I'm afraid I can't defeat this creature in the water with my strength. Yi Chen looked horrified. With the 3 of us here, what are you afraid of? If you say more, you will die now, the scarred man said viciously. Okay, I'll go down first. Yi Chen said reluctantly and jumped directly into the lake, but he was not that stupid and really dived down. He stayed underwater for about 3 or 4 minutes. There seems to be something shining down there, I can't see clearly. Yi Chen surfaced and said loudly, waving his arms, showing an excited look. Is there really a treasure? The scarred man was also a little excited at this time. After all, their team has never encountered real treasures of heaven, materials and earth in these years in the wilderness. You must know that even the lowest level of treasures of heaven, materials and earth are not cheap. The 3 of them looked at each other and saw the excitement in each other's eyes. Let's go down and have a look. After saying that, the 3 of them jumped down together. At this time, their focus was no longer on Yi Chen, but on the baby below. The main reason was that Yi Chen's level was too low. They also believed that Yi Chen was attracted by the noise. It was impossible to get anything, because the treasures of heaven and earth were basically accompanied by strange beasts, so there was no way Yi Chen could defeat them. The 3 of them swam for several minutes without seeing the light that Yi Chen was talking about. The scarred man looked back at Yi Chen, his brows furrowed and full of ferocity. Yi Chen quickly shook his head and pointed forward, meaning it was right in front. The 3 of them didn't think much and continued swimming downstream, while Yi Chen followed them closely. After a while, the 3 of them saw a real light in the distance. The 3 people's faces showed excitement, and they swam forward excitedly. But when they finally saw it clearly, they discovered that the so-called light was just an illuminator for night lighting. The masked man grabbed the illuminator and angrily crushed it to pieces. Wherever there is any radiance from heavenly materials and earthly treasures, these are all made up by Yi Chen. Of course, this illuminator was deliberately left behind by Yi Chen when he came down for the first time. Just when the mood of the 3 of them was ups and downs, Yi Chen took out the spear from the energy storage bracelet and shot it directly into the woman's vest. The 3 people's attention is all on the so-called treasures of heaven and earth. Yi Chen also deliberately walked at the back just now, and the 3 of them ignored Yi Chen when they saw the light. In fact, Yi Chen decided to kill 3 people from the beginning. First of all, the woman's arrow wanted to directly kill Yi Chen. Secondly, Yi Chen believed that the 3 people would kill him no matter what he said. After all, killing and seizing treasures was still a normal thing in the wild. So Yi Chen deliberately talked to them a few more words from the beginning, delaying time to restore the source energy. Yi Chen had a wood spirit armor that accelerated recovery, and he deliberately said that there was treasure under the water. This made the 3 of them greedy, and Yi Chen believed that no one who hunted in the wild all year round could resist the temptation of natural treasures. As expected by Yi Chen, the 3 of them came down together, and Yi Chen deliberately showed weakness to make the 3 of them lower their guard. Yi Chen's spear easily pierced the unprepared woman. As the saying goes, his heart was chilled and his heart was flying. After the attack was successful, the remaining 2 people also reacted. Why didn't he know that all this was Yi Chen's lie? The man quickly took out his big knife and slashed at Yi Chen hard. Underwater, even if the man is a warrior, his sword swing speed will still slow down a lot. It will narrow the gap in strength between the two, which is why Yi Chen wants to lure them into the water. Yi Chen held the spear with both hands and used 7-star steps to dodge the blow. Before, it would have been difficult for Yi Chen to avoid it even underwater. Now that the 7-star steps are complete, you can use the 7-star steps even in water. I saw a star map of the Big Dipper appearing under Yi Chen's feet, and Yi Chen was able to step firmly on it. After Yi Chen dodged the scarred man's knife, he stabbed out with a spear. Although it was stabbed, the scarred man was not hurt at all. The scarred man looked at Yi Chen with nothing but contempt, as if saying, "That's it." But his face changed in the next second, and the corners of Yi Chen's mouth slightly raised. The alloy spear in Yi Chen's hand suddenly flashed with lightning, and purple lightning bolts as thick as a finger surged out. He hit the scarred man fiercely, and this blow consumed half of Yi Chen's source energy. In the water, not to mention that the speed of the two people will slow down, even if they are not slow, it is impossible to avoid the conduction speed of lightning in the water. The scarred man's face changed drastically, there was blurry blood on his chest, and he kept vomiting blood from his mouth. Yi Chen did not continue the attack and went directly upstream. Immediately, he heard a rumbling sound coming from the bottom of the water, as if something was coming this way. Yi Chen quickly used the 7-star steps to step up. I know that such a large lake in the wild is definitely an excellent habitat for strange animals. I don't know what the thing below is. Yi Chen quickly emerged from the water and quickly climbed up to the shore, just as Yi Chen came ashore. Violent fluctuations suddenly broke out in the lake, and the originally calm water surface was torn apart, and water sprayed up dozens of meters high. Yi Chen stepped back and hid behind a tree, with a look of horror on his face. What a terrifying power! Fortunately, I didn't continue to attack after I succeeded in the attack. Otherwise, I might not be alive now. After that, the water surface returned to calm, and nothing in the water came out. Just when Yi Chen was about to leave, Yi Chen saw a person emerging from the water. After taking a closer look, it turned out to be the masked man who made Yi Chen a little unsure, but he was not having a good time at the moment. The left arm was empty, with blood gushing out like a fountain. It should have been caused by that thing underwater. I won't stop doing it. Now that he is seriously injured, this is my best chance. Yi Chen only hesitated for a few seconds before making up his mind. Yi Chen quietly walked out from behind and approached the masked man, even though the masked man was now seriously injured. Yi Chen didn't want to think of any surprises. It would be best if he could kill with a sneak attack, and the lion would fight the rabbit with all his strength. At this moment, the masked man had already landed on the shore, took out the bandages and medicines from his energy storage bracelet, and started to bandage them with his only remaining hand. This scene naturally fell in Yi Chen's eyes. My feeling is indeed correct. This person should be the strongest among the three. The other two don't have bracelets, and he is the only one who has one. When Yi Chen was only about 5 meters away from him, the masked man suddenly turned around and saw Yi Chen. Yi Chen also reacted quickly. When the masked man saw him, he directly used the 7-star step and stabbed forward with a spear. But the masked man's reaction was also very fast. The moment he saw Yi Chen, he stepped back very quickly. It's you. If you hadn't killed Shalwa, the thing below wouldn't have been disturbed by you, and the mountain wouldn't have died. It's all your fault. I'm going to kill you. At this moment, the masked man lost his composure and stared at Yi Chen fiercely like a wounded hungry wolf. Huh, don't you want to kill me? Murderers will always kill, why are you pretending to be a victim? Yi Chen snorted coldly. A shiny black dagger appeared in the masked man's right hand, and suddenly disappeared. Yi Chen's pupils shrank. How can he still be so fast despite being so seriously injured? I can't keep up with his speed. Suddenly a masked man appeared behind Yi Chen, in a half-crouching position, and then stabbed Yi Chen in the waist with a knife, hitting Yi Chen hard. Yi Chen was sent flying and hit a big tree nearby. Holy shit, it turns out to be the kidney killer. Yi Chen said with a grimace on his face and bared his teeth. If Yi Chen didn't have the wood spirit armor, this blow would have killed Yi Chen. But even with the wood spirit armor blocking him, Yi Chen felt as if someone had punched him hard in the waist. Seeing that Yi Chen was not dead, the masked man disappeared again. Could it be a speed-type power? Otherwise, even a warrior wouldn't be able to be so fast. The masked man kept attacking Yi Chen, but Yi Chen could only stop him. Just like when he met the Aoki snake for the first time, Yi Chen did the same, protecting his head. After all, his head had no armor. Another one who is good at speed, really difficult to deal with. Yi Chen cursed secretly. Holding a spear, he blocked the masked man's attack again, causing sparks to fly for a moment. He's slowing down. I just said that after suffering such a serious injury, it is impossible not to have any impact. I have the accelerated recovery of the wood spirit armor. I will definitely last longer than him. Let's see who reveals the flaw first. Yi Chen gritted his teeth. As time went by, Yi Chen was able to block more and more attacks. But he still suffered a lot of damage. Although most of it was blocked by the wood spirit armor, the remaining impact of every blow made Yi Chen uncomfortable. Yi Chen finally couldn't help it anymore and spit out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, the masked man showed his body and stabbed Yi Chen in the waist again. Yi Chen's blood-covered lips raised slightly. I knew you would attack here. When Yi Chen resisted attacks before, Yi Chen discovered that most of the attacks from the masked man were on Yi Chen's waist. Every time the masked man attacked, he always showed his figure in a bent-over position. This was certainly not because he could only attack this part, but it should have been affected by his injuries. Thunder Dragon breaks the sky. Yi Chen waved his spear. This blow was not a thrust, but a sweep. Before the masked man could hit Yi Chen, the gun hit him hard on the shoulder. The whole person was knocked away and hit the ground hard. The masked man was lying on the ground struggling, trying to get up. The masked man originally only had one arm left, but now the other one was also hit by Yi Chen. This blow should have broken his arm. Yi Chen walked towards the masked man step by step. When the masked man saw this, his face was no longer fierce, only frightened. Don't kill me, don't kill me. The masked man kept repeating. But I'm afraid you'll kill me. No, today's matter has been wiped out. Now that I have been so seriously injured, I will not pose a threat to you in the future. I also have an energy storage bracelet, and I will give you everything in it. The masked man, he said quickly. Okay, take out the things. Yi Chen did not stop. The masked man heard it and said quickly, here it is, give it all to you. Unfortunately, before he could finish his words, a spear penetrated his heart. He looked at the spear inserted into his chest and said tremblingly, why? I will not leave any trouble behind, even if you are unable to retaliate. Yi Chen said indifferently. Yi Chen had no intention of letting him go from the beginning. When Yi Chen came to this world, he still had the thoughts of the peaceful era in his mind, and he still had a reverence for human life. It was only after his lineage was slaughtered in the Yi family that his thoughts began to change. Only then did he gradually realize that this is a world where the jungle prevails. If you are weak, you will be bullied. So Yi Chen has been swallowing his anger all these years. As long as he is alive, there is hope for everything. As long as he is alive, there is a chance for revenge. Therefore, when Yi Chen was bullied by the younger members of the Yi family, he endured, not resisting because he was incapable of winning, and if he resisted, he would only receive more beatings. But Yi Chen will never tolerate those who threaten his life and that of his sister. This is Yi Chen's principle. So these three people must die today. Starting from the woman's arrow, Yi Chen's plan revolved around killing the three people. And what this masked man said about not being able to take revenge is even more nonsense. Who knows if he has a friend or two, or if there is any medicine that can cure him. Yi Chen didn't want to face so many unknowns, so Yi Chen had to kill him. But this was also Yi Chen's first real killing. When he killed the woman before, Yi Chen didn't think much about it. He just wanted to hit him and run away, but when he killed the masked man, he thought carefully before taking action. So Yi Chen's face wasn't very pretty now, but he wasn't going to vomit either. Just when Yi Chen was killing the masked man, a systematic voice suddenly sounded in Yi Chen's mind. Ding! Successfully killed the superpower user, obtained 3,000 superpower points, 8 months of training time, C-level superpower speed. What? A superpower actually exploded. Yi Chen looked shocked. He knew that there were only a handful of people in this world who could possess multiple superpowers, but his own system could actually explode a superpower. It seems that I need to develop the system more in the future. What other functions are there that I don't know about? I can't waste them, Yi Chen said happily. By the way, I killed the woman with the bow and arrow before. I wonder if anything exploded. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Awakening level 9. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder S level, Divine Brewing Gourd S level, Rapidity C level. Kung Fu, 9 Nether Thunder Ju S level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Introductory, 7-star Steps Advanced. PowerPoints, 10,000. Cultivation Time, 2 years and 2 months. There are only 2 extra items on the panel, Training Time and Superpowers. In total, the archer woman contributed 2,000 PowerPoints and 6 months of training time to herself. The scarred man with the big knife did not die in Yi Chen's hands, so nothing exploded. It seems that the superpower is not guaranteed to explode, but there is a certain chance. I am really lucky this time. The rapid superpower is very useful to me. Yi Chen was not disappointed because the archer woman didn't have any supernatural powers. Being able to obtain these things now is a sudden surprise for Yi Chen. It is best to have nature, and Yi Chen will not blame others if he does not have it. Only by calming down, practicing with peace of mind, and knowing yourself clearly can you go further on the road of cultivation. Let me see what's inside his energy storage bracelet, Yi Chen said with a smile. Yi Chen took off the masked man's bracelet, touched it with his own, and forced it open. Yi Chen's bracelet was issued by Shanghai University of Science and Technology. It has higher permissions than ordinary ones and has many more functions. Generally speaking, it is more advanced. Ordinary energy storage bracelets only have basic storage, identity recognition and some regular functions. Even if Yi Chen doesn't have this high authority bracelet, he can take the masked man's bracelet back and have it cracked and opened by a specialized organization. This is allowed under federal law and is legal as long as you don't get it in town. This is normal. Nowadays, everyone has special powers. If the federal government wants to achieve peace in the city, it has to spend a lot of resources on management. If we have to manage even outside the city, where will there be so many resources? Moreover, the strong have some privileges, and if they are killed outside the city, they will be killed. Nowadays, human beings are already in danger, and it is unjustifiable if they control those who can fight too strictly. Soon, the masked man's energy storage bracelet was cracked. Yi Chen put his consciousness into it and took out the contents one by one. Suddenly a bunch of items appeared in front of Yi Chen. Most of them were materials from exotic beasts, a few were for high-level awakenings, and the rest were at warrior level. With the strength of 3 people, as long as they are not facing a group of warrior-level beasts, it is easy to kill warrior beasts. The belongings of the 3 of them should be here. I didn't see any packages on the other 2 before, but it's a pity that those 2 have weapons. The long bow and broadsword should be D-level. You can get a lot of money back, Yi Chen murmured. Although weapons obtained in the wild cannot be sold to the Chamber of Commerce, they can be sold to the Federation. It's just that the price will be lower than when you bought it, but this is normal, second-hand ones are naturally cheaper. Yi Chen put the exotic beast materials and the dagger in the masked man's hand into his energy storage bracelet. Yi Chen, the masked man's energy storage bracelet, put it on his other hand, and it can be recycled by the Federation later. Although Yi Chen cracked it and had the authority to take out things, he did not have the authority to store them. Only federal recertification can have normal functions, so Yi Chen can't let others use it. Hey, what is this? Yi Chen saw that there was an ancient book inside, and Yi Chen took it over and read it. It turns out to be a book of speed combat skills. No wonder his speed is so fast, far faster than the speed of sea-level powers. Yi Chen's eyes were full of joy. This combat skill was the sea-level combat skill used by the masked man before, Instant Shadow, which caused Yi Chen to suffer a lot. I didn't expect to gain so much. This secret book is worth at least 2 million. It feels so good to open the blind box. With Shuangying and Kixingbu, it would be difficult for Yi Chen to get injured when hunting warrior-level beasts. Of course, if it's some special beasts, that's another story. After all, There are so many kinds of strange beasts that humans don't even have complete statistics. There are still some strange beasts that humans have never seen, or they have seen them, but everyone who has seen them has died. The next thing was nothing but 2 spiritual cores, but Yi Chen was still very satisfied with this harvest. Afterwards, Yi Chen packed up his things and marked this place on the map of his bracelet. Let's take a look at what's down here when we get stronger. And down here should be the big guy's territory, maybe it's guarding something. But these will only be known after Yi Chen becomes stronger. The map function of the energy storage bracelet is not actually a detailed map. This is far 100 times larger than the planet in Yi Chen's previous life. At first, humans also tried to launch satellites and identify maps. However, it was found that it was difficult for rockets to reach space and they would be shot down by strange beasts in the sky. Only a few satellites could not form a complete map at all. Just like the forest where Yi Chen was, it was difficult for satellites to see clearly what was going on in the forest, as the images were blocked by big trees. So humans simply gave up this function and transformed it to record the path you have taken, so that people will not get lost in the wild. You can also mark, but you can only mark places you have visited. After making the mark, Yi Chen also returned the same way according to the route of the bracelet, and with the help of the wood spirit armor, Yi Chen's energy recovered quickly. On the way, he also killed 2 green wood snakes and other strange beasts. Yi Chen's training time also came to 2 years and 6 months. After that, Yi Chen returned to the city unimpeded, and now he needed to get rid of all the materials in his hand. As long as we return to the city, our safety is guaranteed, at least no one will kill people blatantly. Yi Chen was not in a hurry to use his training time, so Yi Chen went directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce without returning to the hotel. When they arrived at Chu's Chamber of Commerce, the employees in the store already knew Yi Chen. They all greeted Yi Chen with a smile. Yi Chen also smiled and nodded in response, and then walked directly to Zhao Hai's office. "Uncle Zhao, we have the goods." Yi Chen didn't knock on the door, just opened the door and walked in, sitting down on the sofa. Zhao Hai was drinking tea at the moment. He was confident about this auction because of the things Yi Chen had brought recently. He was in a pretty good mood. He was a little unhappy when he heard someone come in without knocking, but when he saw it was Yi Chen, his face was full of smiles. After hearing Yi Chen's words, he looked at Yi Chen and found that there was no injury on Yi Chen's body like last time. He was relieved in his heart. Now that Yi Chen was his god of wealth, he certainly hoped that Yi Chen would be well. "Don't you want to take a rest? Why did you go to the wild again today? Don't think about finding another Konoha just because you found one. It's good luck to find one, don't be greedy," Zhao Hai said with some worry. He was still afraid that Yi Chen wouldn't be able to resist the temptation and would challenge beasts that were stronger than him many times. If he could succeed once, there was already an element of luck involved. You can't always have luck on your side. You often walk by the river and your shoes won't get wet, so I gave Yi Chen a few more words. Yi Chen felt warm in his heart when he heard Zhao Hai's words. Since his parents disappeared, only his sister and Chu Tian cared about Yi Chen. It's not that Yi Chen's classmates are unwilling to make friends with Yi Chen, it's just that Yi Chen used to work part-time whenever he had time and didn't have much time to communicate with his classmates. The reason we became good friends with Chu Tian was because Chu Tian got drunk once at the restaurant where Yi Chen worked part-time, and Yi Chen sent Chu Tian back, and the two became good friends. "Uncle Zhao, I know. I didn't want to go looking for it. I just wanted to go shopping today and happened to come across some good things," Yi Chen said with a smile. "As long as you know what's appropriate, safety is the most important thing in the wild." Zhao Hai nodded. He still believed in Yi Chen. Yi Chen raised his wrist and consciously sensed his energy storage bracelet. The contents were piled on the table in front of him. Zhao Hai couldn't help but shrink his pupils when he saw this. Most of these things were warrior-level exotic beast materials. "Is this what you call strolling around?" Zhao Hai couldn't help but change his expression when he looked at Yi Chen. It would be impossible for a warrior-level superpower to hunt so many of these things in one day. How did Yi Chen do it? Could it be that Yi Chen has already broken through to become a warrior? It is impossible to break through to become a warrior. Countless questions rang in Zhao Hai's heart. "What level are you at now?" Zhao Hai looked at Yi Chen doubtfully. I am still in the awakening stage and have not broken through to become a warrior. Of course Yi Chen knew what Zhao Hai was asking. And you? I was just lucky. I encountered two strange beasts fighting. I took advantage of it and killed them. Then I met a team of warriors who wanted to kill me. Of course these things are not mine, but theirs. Yi Chen replied calmly, explaining clearly what happened today in a few words. But every word Yi Chen said that fell into Zhao Hai's ears stirred up waves in Zhao Hai's heart. What? I met a warrior team, what about you? Zhao Hai said in surprise. It was a trick to set up a trap and kill them all. Yi Chen said modestly. Zhao Hai took a deep look at Yi Chen and did not continue to ask. That was a team of warriors. It is not easy to design any trap to kill 3 people, but for such a big thing, Yi Chen just brushed it off in an understatement. Zhao Hai asked Chu Tian privately before about Yi Chen's awakened power, and the result he got was A-level purple extreme thunder. A-level combat abilities are really powerful. They can kill a team of warriors even before they reach the level of warriors. Zhao Hai was very moved. Zhao Hai made a random phone call and called in several staff members to help estimate how much these exotic beast materials were worth. These people are indeed old employees of the Chu Chamber of Commerce for many years, and they estimated it in only 10 minutes. Manager Zhao, these materials are worth 8.3 million, but there are 2 spiritual cores in them, so the price may fluctuate. One of the older men said respectfully to Zhao Hai. That's 9 million, Zhao Hai said cheerfully. Yi Chen was shocked. He didn't expect these materials to be worth so much money. Adding the original money in his hand, Yi Chen now had more than 10 million in property. Whether it was in his previous life or now, this number was an astronomical figure for Yi Chen. No wonder Yi Chen was so enthusiastic. This was what Yi Chen had gained in less than a month since he came to the wilderness. Although there was an element of luck, it was actually Yi Chen who earned it, so Yi Chen was very happy at the moment. I have 2 more things here. Uncle Zhao can help me deal with them. Yi Chen took out the dagger and the D-class armor he wore before. Zhao Hai picked up the thing and looked at it carefully. The material used in the dagger was good, it should be a C-grade alloy. But it was too small, and the alloy used was not much. The armor was quite new, but it was only D-grade. Zhao Hai did some calculations in his mind and said, we will help you recover these 2 things from the Alliance, and give you 4 million, what do you think? Uncle Zhao, did you give me too much? Just give it to me at the federal recycling price. Yi Chen knew that this price was a high price given by Zhao Hai. The armor was bought for 1.2 million. Although Yi Chen didn't wear it for long, it would cost up to 1 million to recycle it. Although the dagger was made of C-grade alloy. But it doesn't have special effects, and the style of the dagger means it won't be much cheaper than spears and knives. It's good to be able to recycle 2.5 million. Zhao Hai gave an extra 500,000 yuan, plus the extra 700,000 yuan he gave Yi Chen before for the exotic beast materials. In total, he gave Yi Chen an extra 1.2 million yuan. That's why Yi Chen refused, giving too much. Zhao Hai shook his head. The price of exotic beast materials fluctuates. The material of your dagger is not bad. We won't lose money. If you don't accept it, you are looking down on Uncle Zhao. Since you call me Uncle Zhao, I can't treat you badly. Zhao Hai deliberately looked unhappy. Thank you very much, Uncle Zhao. Yi Chen saw this and did not refuse. The auction will be held in a few days. You can walk around the city in these 2 days, but also pay attention to safety when going to the wild. You are now a multi-millionaire, so practice hard. Zhao Hai warned. He was a little afraid that Yi Chen would wander around in the wild again. When he encountered a team of warriors who were killing people and seizing treasures, would Yi Chen still be able to escape successfully? Okay, I understand. Thank you, Uncle Zhao. I'll go back first. Yi Chen responded with a smile. Yi Chen said this, but what he wanted in his heart was to seize the last few days and go to the wild to get more practice time. After bidding farewell to Zhao Hai, Yi Chen went directly back to the training room in the hotel. Yi Chen now has more than 2 years of cultivation resources in his hands, and he has to spend them carefully. As soon as Yi Chen returned to the hotel, his energy storage bracelet sounded a beep. 13 million has been credited to your account. Yi Chen grinned from the corner of his mouth to his ears and said softly, Uncle Zhao's movements are really fast. After receiving the payment reminder, Yi Chen was in a good mood. Who doesn't like to hear the sound of collecting money? With this money, I might be able to buy something at the subsequent auction. Yi Chen touched his chin and already started planning how to use the money. Of course, if you have money, you have to spend it, not to mention that Yi Chen is in the stage of rapid growth. The demand for resources is also urgent, and Yi Chen plans to make a splash in the next college entrance examination. Yi Chen returned to the hotel and went directly to the training room, carefully considering how to use his 2 years and 0 training time. These training hours will definitely allow me to break through to the warrior level, but it is not difficult for me to break through to the warrior level at the moment. What I want is to lay a solid foundation at every stage. If I just blindly improve my cultivation, I'm afraid it will be detrimental to future development. Yi Chen thought seriously. Before Yi Chen was able to counterattack warrior level superpowers, his biggest reliance was his Dacheng level 7-star steps. Most ordinary superpowers spend more time cultivating realms and allocate much less time to the cultivation of combat skills. In their opinion, it is basically enough to practice combat skills to a small degree. If you practice from Xiaocheng to Dacheng level, you not only need to have understanding, but also need to devote a lot of time. This is not to say that it is not cost-effective to upgrade combat skills from minor to minor. Combat skills from minor to major will greatly improve combat effectiveness. Just like Yi Chen's hungry 7-star steps, Dacheng's 7-star steps are not suitable for people like the masked man before who have speed combat skills and speed powers. Basically, no one at the warrior level can hurt him with the Dacheng 7-star steps. There used to be people who focused on improving their combat skills, but spent most of their lives without making a breakthrough, and finally died in depression. If he pays attention to the cultivation of realm at the beginning, he might be able to become a strong person. Therefore, most people later are unwilling to spend too much time betting on an uncertain possibility. Yi Chen has no trouble in this regard at all. Yi Chen's ability to awaken dual S-level abilities shows that Yi Chen's talent is definitely top-notch, and the rest will take time. Yi Chen is not worried anymore. With the system in place, he must have more time than others, so Yi Chen's cultivation route is destined to be different from others. Moreover, the 1 day of practice time used by Yi Chen means that Yi Chen concentrates on practice 24 hours a day, but who can concentrate on practice 24 hours a day? Therefore, Yi Chen's training time in 1 day is comparable to several days of training for others, and it must be an efficient training without desertion. Therefore, for Yi Chen, a breakthrough in combat skills became something that could definitely be achieved. Therefore, Yi Chen can completely grasp both ends and become truly omnipotent. Next, learn the Instant Shadow book first. Yi Chen made a decision. Yi Chen was very jealous of the masked man's extraordinary speed. If he were to use it, he could be even faster. For the next time, Yi Chen studied quietly in the training room. When he was selling the harvest to Zhao Hai before, he didn't take out this combat skill and let Zhao Hai sell it for him, not because Yi Chen wanted to learn it before selling it. But in the Chinese Federation, combat skills can only be sold by the Federation. You can practice whatever you get in the wild. However, commercial activities are not allowed, and the acquired combat skills must be recycled by the Federation. This is a kind of protection for those who create combat skills and protects their profits. Nowadays, the Chinese Federation's combat skills are sold by the Federation, and then a portion is taken as a share, and the remaining proceeds go to the person who created the combat skills. If you are found to be selling it at will, it is a violation of the Copyright Protection Act of Combat Techniques and you will be jailed. It is precisely because of this law that the Chinese Federation's combat skills can develop so vigorously. If everyone sells them at will, there will definitely be fewer people studying combat skills, and the development of combat skills will also slow down. Therefore, the Chinese Federation has done a good job in protecting the copyright of combat techniques. After reading for about 2 or 3 hours, Yi Chen finally finished reading, and the words Shuangying not yet started appeared on the system panel. System, give me half a year to work on the instant image. Yi Chen's physical fitness and level are not as good as before, and he will not be overwhelmed by the large amount of memories like before. But Yi Chen's face was still ugly. After a while, Yi Chen suddenly gasped for air, indicating that he had finished accepting the memory. Yi Chen took out the divine wine gourd and drank a few mouthfuls of Baikao wine. He had discovered before that Baikao wine seemed to have an effect on the soul. Although Yi Chen would not be completely unaffected, it would still be okay to alleviate some of the pain. Yi Chen calmed down like this for a while, and then his face gradually returned to rosy. It would be great if I knew how to train my body and soul. I would definitely not be as painful as I am now. But Yi Chen quickly shook his head. I'm just greedy. I can learn a great combat skill with such little pain. What else am I not satisfied with? As he spoke, Yi Chen took out the divine wine gourd again, drank a few sips in advance, and then said silently in his heart, add half a year of training time to the 9 nether thunder Ju. Suddenly, purple thunder and lightning erupted all over Yi Chen, and Yi Chen's clothes were torn apart, leaving him naked from the waist up. If you observe carefully, Yi Chen's skin is very white now. But at this moment, purple light could be seen flowing under Yi Chen's skin, as if flowing along the blood. As the thunder and lightning broke out, Yi Chen's skin began to show signs of cracking, and some black cracks appeared. Yi Chen seemed to have sensed it, and then took a few sips of the strengthening wine. The cracks began to glow with a faint golden light, gradually repairing and healing. Yi Chen's frown slowly relaxed, and the surrounding thunder and lightning began to decrease. Finally, Yi Chen slowly opened his eyes, and a purple arc flashed through Yi Chen's eyes, finally a warrior. A wave of air spread out from around Yi Chen. My physical training is still not up to standard. Others can't keep up with the physical body, but my physical body can't keep up with the physical training. If it weren't for the help of the bodybuilding wine, I might not be able to break through today. Yi Chen was a little scared. When ordinary people practice step by step, their bodies will gradually become stronger. Therefore, it is almost impossible for the source energy in the body to be too strong and the physical body cannot bear it. But Yi Chen is different. He directly uses his training time on the 9 nether thunder technique, and his body will not become stronger accordingly. Instead, he directly put the source energy increased through practice directly into Yi Chen's body. Therefore, Yi Chen's physical body could not bear it. Even though Yi Chen drank the bodybuilding wine every day, the speed of his physical body's improvement could not keep up with the speed of the source energy. It seems that it is urgent to find a body training technique. It's just that it's not easy to find a high-level one that also suits me. I'll ask senior sister Feng Lian if she has any knowledge in this area. Yi Chen thought about it carefully, and among the people he knew, Feng Lian was probably the only one who had this possibility. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder S Level, Divine Brewing Gourd S Level, Rapidity C Level. Kung Fu, 9 Nether Thunder Ju S Level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike Basic, 7-star Steps Dacheng Instant Shadow Dacheng. Power Points, 10,000. Cultivation Time, 1 year and 6 months. I'm actually a second-level warrior. I still underestimated the horror of half a year of training. Yi Chen was a little surprised. There is still 1.5 years left, which should be enough time to practice the Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike. Yi Chen was also a little unsure. His 7-star steps took about 8 months to complete, while Shunying took 6 months to complete. But these two combat skills are only C level, and Thunder Dragon Sky Breaking Strike is not only A level, but also a supernatural combat skill. I don't know how much more difficult it is to practice than these two disciplines. Use half a year and a half of your training time on the Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike. With his previous experience, Yi Chen has learned wisely and will not use it all at once. At this moment, Yi Chen had already placed the divine wine gourd containing Baikao Niang in front of him. After giving the order, Yi Chen immediately took a few mouthfuls of Baikao Niang. Yi Chen is now a second-level warrior, and has improved a lot in all aspects. That's why he dared to use the system for half a year after another, instead of taking a break before continuing after half a year. But Yi Chen soon regretted it, as a huge amount of memories continued to be poured into Yi Chen's mind. At this time, Baikao brewing was no longer of much use. Yi Chen hugged his head tightly and lay on the ground, curled up. Yi Chen let out a painful scream and fainted immediately. I don't know how long it took before Yi Chen slowly woke up, and Yi Chen wanted to get up. However, he found that whenever he moved, his head hurt as if it was about to split, so Yi Chen had no choice but to continue lying down. System, open the panel. Yi Chen closed his eyes and muttered silently in his mind. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder S Level, Divine Brewing Gourd S Level, Rapidity C Level. Kung Fu, 9 Nether Thunder Ju S Level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7-star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points, 10,000. Training Time, 0. Finally, I have achieved a small success. It only took a year to achieve a small success. If others practice non-stop, it may take more than 3 years for someone with extraordinary talent to achieve a small success. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. What Yi Chen didn't know was that Feng Lian's teacher, Huang Lei Huang, also practiced this combat skill. But it took 5 years to achieve success, and he was already at the genius level. He was the fastest person to get started with Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike in a century. If the Fantasy Thunder Emperor were here right now, his jaw would probably drop. At this moment, Yi Chen was still lamenting that it took him a year and a half to practice before he could achieve the Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike. If the Fantasy Thunder Emperor knew about it, he would be so angry that he would die. Yi Chen still didn't understand the preciousness of training time. His past year and a half was not just a simple practice, but a year and a half of practice with full concentration and efficiency. After Yi Chen saw Xiaocheng's Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike in the panel, he breathed a sigh of relief and then fell asleep. Sleeping is currently the best way for Yi Chen to regain his energy, and with his current physical condition, he won't get sick even if he sleeps in this training room for half a month. I don't know how long it took before Yi Chen woke up. Yi Chen looked at the time and realized that 2 days had passed and the auction was tomorrow. Yi Chen stood up, went back to the room, took a shower and changed his clothes. These clothes are almost used up. Every time I go to the wild, I will break 1 set. Then I have to buy a few more sets when I go home, otherwise I will have nothing to wear. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. It's only around 9 o'clock now. Do you want to go for a walk in the wild again? My strength has improved so much now. It's just a good time to adapt to the new power. Yi Chen took a look at today's weather. The sun was shining brightly, and it was a good day to go out. Yi Chen's execution was very strong and he left the city without hesitation. This time he chose the direction where he met the Aoki snake for the first time. It didn't take long for him to arrive at the place where he had killed the green wood snake. If the route recorded on the energy storage bracelet hadn't shown that this was the previous place, Yi Chen would never have believed it. When Yi Chen fought with Aoki snake, the surrounding environment was damaged a lot, but now it has been restored to its original state. Only a few days have passed. No wonder it is difficult for humans to survive in this world. The wild environment has such a strong recovery ability, which is even more powerful for alien beasts. Yi Chen sighed with emotion. Yi Chen continued to go deeper without stopping too much. It didn't take long for Yi Chen to meet his opponent on this trip, a flaming wolf with a red body and a flaming tail. What Yi Chen didn't know was that he had passed by this flaming wolf before. When he killed the green wood snake, the noise he made attracted the flaming wolf. It's just that when the flaming wolf came, Yi Chen had already run away. If he had bumped into it at that time, Yi Chen would have died. When he could kill Yi Chen, he missed it. After Yi Chen became stronger, he was found by Yi Chen. This is fate. Yi Chen jumped down from the tree and jumped in front of the flame wolf. This time Yi Chen did not make a sneak attack. Because he wanted to test his current strength, and this flaming wolf was also at the warrior level. Yi Chen was still confident, so Yi Chen chose to fight head-on. When the flaming wolf saw a human suddenly appearing in front of him, his hair immediately exploded. The flames on his tail burned a little more fiercely, and then he stared at Yi Chen fiercely. This flaming wolf was quite smart, seeing that Yi Chen could appear in front of him so arrogantly. And it hadn't noticed it yet, so it didn't dare to attack Yi Chen. Yi Chen didn't move, he just stood holding the spear. After a while, Yi Chen saw that the flaming wolf still didn't move. He said helplessly, "I thought you would attack first, and let me see how fast I can react. If you don't take action, then I'll do it." Yi Chen stepped forward with his right foot, carrying a spear in his right hand, making a lunge, and then with a sudden force, he disappeared directly on the spot. When Lai Yanlang saw Yi Chen disappearing, he panicked and kept looking around, trying to find Yi Chen. Yi Chen suddenly appeared behind it, and then stabbed out with a spear. Yi Chen deliberately controlled this blow and just rubbed it, not piercing him. Then Yi Chen disappeared again, and Lai Yan turned around in horror, not seeing Yi Chen. Yi Chen kept disappearing like this, and then stabbed out without causing fatal injuries. It didn't take long for the flame wolf to be covered in wounds. At this moment, there was only fear and despair in the flame wolf's eyes. He knew Yi Chen was just playing with it, but there was nothing he could do. Yi Chen appeared again. This time he did not continue, but appeared 3 or 4 meters in front of the flame wolf, giving him enough space to attack. The blazing wolf knew that this was Yi Chen's intention, but it had no choice but to use all its strength to strike this blow. The flaming wolf jumped up, its front paws filled with flames, and swatted towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen took a step back and said softly, "Thunder Dragon breaks the sky." I saw a purple thunder dragon wrapped around Yi Chen's spear, and Yi Chen thrust out the spear. The thunder dragon also roared and flew towards the flame wolf, and the flame wolf was directly submerged by thunder and lightning. Ding! Successfully killed the flame wolf and gained 6 months of training time. No special items were revealed. When the smoke and dust dispersed, Yi Chen saw that a big hole had been blown into the body of the blazing wolf, and half of its body was gone. It's so strong. I can't resist the warrior-level beasts. It's just that it consumes a lot of energy. Yi Chen's breathing became faster. Yi Chen did not move forward. He had verified his strength and achieved his goal. He didn't take away the corpse of the blazing wolf, mainly because it was in a dilapidated state and had no value. Yi Chen returned directly to the original route and prepared to participate in tomorrow's auction. Early the next morning, Yi Chen got up early as usual. For so many years, Yi Chen had always had the habit of getting up early. After Yi Chen finished washing, he stood on the balcony, holding a cup of coffee in his left hand, quietly watching the people coming and going below. A ray of morning sun gently scattered on the earth, bringing a touch of warmth to this blood-stained and cold land. I've been here for more than half a month, but I haven't taken a good look at it. The auction happens to be this afternoon, so why not take a look around in the morning? When Yi Chen saw the scene outside, his heart moved. Yi Chen changed into casual clothes, still wearing the wood spirit armor underneath, just in case. After changing his clothes, Yi Chen went out. In addition to the place where the army is stationed, there are 3 streets in the rest of this garrison, one of which is where some ordinary traders set up street stalls. One is the stores of some powerful merchants, selling some common items. The 3rd street is the largest chamber of commerce in this area, selling some high-end items. For example, the treasures of heaven and earth. Most of the people who come and go here are warriors or above, or some children of rich and powerful families. The Chu family is on the 2nd street and wants to be on the 3rd street. Due to the size of the Chu family, even if the auction went well, it was still just a walk down the 2nd street. Yi Chen did not go directly to the 3rd street, but started shopping from the 1st street. No 1999, just 999, just 999, take the best healing medicine home, take it home directly. The body tempering potion is jumping off the building, it's jumping off the building. The body tempering potion is jumping off the building, it's jumping off the building, come and buy it, come and buy it. Kibao chicken for 10 yuan a bunch, Kibao chicken for 10 yuan a bunch. There are vendors everywhere, selling potions, materials, spiritual food, and everything else. Yi Chen was not annoyed by these hawking sounds, but found them quite interesting and full of fireworks. He bought a few skewers of Kibao chicken and ate while shopping. Although Yi Chen found it interesting, he didn't buy everything. This street is full of ordinary vendors, and there are quite a few selling fake goods. Moreover, what is emphasized here is that one hand pays the money and the other hand delivers the goods, and then the money and goods are cleared, and no entanglement is allowed. This is the unspoken rule here. Yi Chen didn't have the confidence that he wouldn't buy fakes. So Yi Chen just walked around, looked around, ate and drank, and soon reached the 2nd street. There are obviously far fewer people on this street than on the 1st street. They are basically shops that collect materials, as well as some small chambers of commerce. After a while, Yi Chen walked to the door of the Chu Chamber of Commerce. There were 2 standing signs at the door. Above is a promotional slogan for the auction, and the last item is about the auction of items with improved qualifications. Yi Chen shook his head. He naturally knew that the only item that could improve his qualifications was the Konoha flower. But the chance that Konoha can improve is very slim, but there is indeed a slight possibility of improving his qualifications, and he didn't lie. Just when Yi Chen stopped, a woman wearing a cheongsam hurriedly came up to her. This person was the staff member who received Yi Chen when he first came to sell materials. Later, Yi Chen often appeared at the Chu Chamber of Commerce, and the two became familiar with each other. Yi Chen knew that her name was Shui Xiaofan, and Yi Chen kept calling her sister Shui. "Brother Yi Chen, why are you here so early today? Come and sit inside first," Shui Xiaofan said enthusiastically with a smile on his face. Shui Xiaofan is only 22 years old. After graduating from high school, his academic performance was not good. He only awakened E-level powers and did not go to college. But fortunately, she still had a good-looking skin. After passing the college entrance examination, she came directly to the Chu Chamber of Commerce to serve as the front desk. She also works very seriously and hard, and she is not as domineering as some salespeople, so Zhao Hai treats her well. When Yi Chen came to sell things for the first time, Zhao Hai told her to try her best to meet all Yi Chen's requirements and serve Yi Chen well. Shui Xiaofan has worked here for 4 years and still has the ability to observe people's emotions. Yi Chen was so young, and he went to the wild to hunt exotic animals alone. She immediately guessed that Yi Chen must be a rare genius. Otherwise, Zhao Hai would not be so special to Yi Chen. So she was nicer to Yi Chen. Every time Yi Chen came, she took good care of Yi Chen. She naturally had her own little thoughts. If she is really attracted by Yi Chen, she will naturally be willing to do it. It can be said that the crow has turned into a phoenix. But Yi Chen always behaved politely and appropriately. "I'm just strolling around. I haven't strolled around properly since I came here. Sister Shui, don't worry about me. I'll just walk around," Yi Chen said gently, with a faint smile on his face. Yi Chen's skin has become whiter and his figure is getting better and better since he exercised with tonic wine every day. In the past, Yi Chen looked very thin due to malnutrition, but now he looked like a different person, sunny and handsome. Shui Xiaofan was deeply attracted by Yi Chen's warm and spring-like smile, and his whole body seemed to be frozen, standing there blankly. Her heartbeat accelerated involuntarily, and she felt a warm current rushing into her heart, as if a spring breeze was blowing on her face. The whole person was immersed in the tenderness of that smile, unable to extricate himself. Of course Yi Chen knew what Shui Xiaofan meant. In his previous life, Yi Chen was also in his 20s and had been in love. He had never eaten pork and had never seen a pig run away. However, Yi Chen has no plans in this regard for the time being. He still has a younger sister to take care of. He also wanted to take revenge on the Yi family and find his missing parents. Everything in Yi Chen's heart was more important than the love between his children. Taking a step back and being realistic, Shui Xiaofan only has E-level powers and Yi Chen has S-level powers. The two of them are destined to be in two different worlds. Yi Chen doesn't have the mentality of an 18-year-old, and Yi Chen can't really be this innocent. If there were other people of the same age as Yi Chen, they might really be taken down by Shui Xiaofan. After all, they were young and vigorous, and had strong energy and blood. These were normal. "Sister Shui," Yi Chen stretched out his hand and waved it in front of Shui Xiaofan's eyes, feeling helpless. It seemed that Shui Xiaofan was really fascinated by him. Shui Xiaofan suddenly woke up, his face instantly turned red, but he soon returned to normal. He smiled and said, "Let me lead the way for you and be your guide for the day. I just happened to have done almost everything today. I'll go tell Manager Zhao to wait for me." After saying that, he ran away without giving Yi Chen a chance to refuse. Yi Chen was about to refuse, but at this time Shui Xiaofan had disappeared, and Yi Chen was helpless. After a while, Shui Xiaofan came back. At this time, she was not wearing a cheongsam, but a simple and elegant light green dress. "When I wore cheongsam before, I looked mature and elegant, but now this outfit has a sense of purity." This is also Shui Xiaofan's little trick, he wants to dress younger and get closer to Yi Chen. I have to say that this outfit is really eye-catching, and Yi Chen couldn't help but take a second look. Shui Xiaofan also saw Yi Chen's eyes, and couldn't help but smile even more happily, and said, Manager Zhao agreed, let's go. Yi Chen had no choice but to nod. It would be a bit hurtful to refuse at this time. Let's go then, let's go shopping on the 3rd Street. Yi Chen said helplessly. Let's talk about it later when we have an opportunity. And after today's auction ends, I probably won't be here for a long time. Yi Chen thought for a while. Okay, I'll take you there. Shui Xiaofan said happily when he saw Yi Chen didn't refuse. The two walked to the 3rd Street together. There was a bayonet at the entrance of the street, and 2 soldiers with guns stood next to it. Is there any procedure for entering the 3rd Street? Yi Chen was a little confused. Yes, you need to verify your identity. After all, most of the things sold here are expensive. Look at the 2 soldiers at the door. They are both martial arts masters. The merchants here are all cooperating with the government. These 2 soldiers are from the military headquarters, sent to protect this place. Manager Zhao said that there is at least 1 battalion stationed in this street. Shui Xiaofan said seriously. Military commercial cooperation. It turns out it has an official color, no wonder. Yi Chen nodded. The 2 of them came to the pass together. Yi Chen stretched out his wrist and exposed his energy storage bracelet. One of the soldiers took a machine the size of a mobile phone and glanced at Yi Chen's wrist, with a look of surprise on his face. You can bring 3 people in. The soldier said respectfully. Yi Chen was also a little surprised and said, okay, she's with me. Yi Chen pointed at Shui Xiaofan. Another soldier took the machine and scanned it at Shui Xiaofan and said, okay, you can go in. The 2 of them went in together, and Shui Xiaofan asked curiously, does your energy storage bracelet have high authority? Why do you ask that? I have been here several times before, and Manager Zhao brought me here, but Manager Zhao can only bring 1 person, and you can bring 3, which means your authority is definitely higher than Manager Zhao. Shui Xiaofan explained. So that's it. I said that. The soldier looked at me a little strangely. Yi Chen suddenly realized. Yi Chen didn't say that his bracelet was from Wuhan University in Shanghai. Seeing that Yi Chen didn't explain, Shui Xiaofan didn't ask any more questions. The 2 of them walked to a strange building. The building looked like an ancient pavilion, but it shone with metallic luster and was mixed with cyberpunk elements. Surprisingly, these elements do not seem out of place, but blend seamlessly, presenting a unique beauty. Shui Xiaofan saw Yi Chen stopping here and understood. This is the treasure pavilion. The items sold in it are real treasures. They are top-notch items on our 2nd Street. Many of the things in it cannot be bought in the Federal Mall. Do you want to go in and take a look? Let's go in and have a look. Yi Chen nodded. The 2 walked in together. When they looked at it from the outside, they felt that the building was not very big. Unexpectedly, after entering, there was something special. This building should be made of special materials. Yi Chen couldn't help but sigh, what a big deal. I don't know how valuable this whole building is. There are transparent glass boxes on the 1st floor, and the things inside are all good things. Shui Heian, 50 million federal coins. Bone fruit, 2 million federal coins. Thunder and Ghost, 300 million federal coins. Yi Chen's pupils narrowed. Are the Thunder and Ghosts just for sale on the 1st floor? This is something that can directly strengthen the body without pain. It also has a certain chance of absorbing ghosts. Ghosts are a good thing that can defend against soul attacks. But the price is also very beautiful, 300 million. Yi Chen was a little helpless. Shui Xiaofan just followed Yi Chen quietly, and the 2 of them walked around like this, and no one came to receive them. After all, this is Qijin Pavilion, and this name is the best sign. They don't need to introduce things to customers, just putting them there is enough to show their confidence. Let's go to the 2nd floor and have a look. The 2 of them went up to the 2nd floor together, and there was another scene. There were obviously many more people on the 2nd floor, and there were also more staff. Yi Chen saw a bunch of people gathered in front of him, turned around and asked Shui Xiaofan, what is this 2nd floor for? Why are there so many people there? This is gambling on stones. Shui Xiaofan replied. Gambling stone, jade. Yi Chen was a little confused. There are also gambling stones in this world, and they can be placed on the second floor of the Kijin Pavilion. Does jade have any special function? It's not jade, it's a special material that can isolate perception. It also has a seal imposed by a person with superpowers. The things the stone can produce are random, and it can even produce things worth billions. Shui Xiaofan explained. Oh, it's just a blind box. Let's go and have a look. Yi Chen also became interested. Although Yi Chen doesn't gamble, he can give it a try. It's opened. It's a fire-attributed spiritual core at the level of a general. I've made a profit, a man said excitedly, holding a fiery red spiritual core in his hand. It's over. It's an E-class dagger. Big loss. Another person fired something, but it was obvious that he was not as lucky as the previous person. How can the dagger be so big and the weapon can be fired? Doesn't the Federation not allow private sales of weapons? Yi Chen was a little confused. This stone has some spatial properties. Didn't I talk about military commercial cooperation before? This place has an official color, and the weapons inside are all registered, which is no different from direct sales by the Federation. Shui Xiaofan explained. That's right, most of the materials with such spatial properties are in the hands of the Federation and are used to make energy storage bracelets. The fact that Kijin Pavilion can sell them in such an open and honest manner is naturally authorized by the official. Let's go open it and try it out. Yi Chen walked towards the shelves. How do you sell the stones here? Yi Chen asked a male staff member. The stones here are divided into 5 levels. The first level is 100,000, the second level is 1 million, the third level is 10 million, the fourth level is 100 million, and the fifth level is 1 billion. Anyone with 1 billion. Yi Chen secretly clicked his tongue. I'll buy 2 second-level ones. Please come this way. The man took Yi Chen to the second-level stone, and then left. Yi Chen, you'll lose 9 times out of 10 when betting on stones, otherwise we'd better stop playing. Shui Xiaofan said with some worry. It's okay, let's just have a little fun, buy 2 and try them out before leaving. Yi Chen was interested in this thing in his previous life, but had no money. Now that he has money, he can fulfill his wish in his previous life. Yi Chen kept touching these piles of stones, just when Yi Chen was about to pick 2 and leave. Yi Chen suddenly felt a special wave coming from the stone he touched. What's going on? Yi Chen was shocked, knowing that all the stones here have been specially treated. The stone itself is the first layer of barrier, and the seal on it is the second layer of barrier. How can it still transmit energy to Yi Chen? Yi Chen was also a little unsure whether it was because his S-level ability to sense abilities was relatively strong. But although S-level powers are rare, they still exist. It's not like no one has discovered that S-level powers can sense things inside stones over the years. Maybe it was because of the system. For a while, Yi Chen wasn't sure why. Yi Chen handed the piece in his hand to Shui Xiaofan, and then continued to search to see if there were other stones that he could sense. Yi Chen now began to search seriously. The people next to him were a little puzzled when they saw that he touched every piece. Does he have any special powers that allow him to sense what's inside? How is it possible? This is a double isolation of a seal and a space stone. Have you ever heard in so many years that anyone can tell what's inside? Then what do you think he is doing? I see, another pretender is doing it here. The people nearby couldn't help but talk about it. Yi Chen ignored it. After a while, he felt another piece, but the fluctuations in this piece were much smaller than the previous one. Let's go, let's open these 2 pieces. Yi Chen stood up and called Shui Xiaofan to come to the Jieshi staff. Help us open these 2 stones. Yi Chen handed over his bracelet and paid 2 million. Okay, sir. I saw the staff placing the stone on an instrument, which looked like a hollow box, and the stone was placed inside. You can also see the situation inside from the outside, which adds a bit of excitement to the passing of Jieshi. The first thing to solve is the piece in Yi Chen's hand, which is the one with smaller fluctuations. I saw that the instrument emits a beam of light and shines on the stone, and the seal pattern on the stone disappears little by little. Then a robotic arm stretched out and cut the stone bit by bit. Yi Chen also became a little nervous. The process of betting on stones was the most exciting. Yi Chen stared at the stone with his eyes fixed on it. There were some people watching around him. After all, Many people noticed Yi Chen's strange behavior of choosing the stone just now. A crisp sound of click sounded, the stone cracked, and the contents inside finally revealed their true colors. I saw a long gun lying inside. The long gun was all black and looked plain and simple. Is it because the perception is wrong? In fact, it is nothing. Yi Chen looked at this ordinary spear and couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. It's okay, just think of it as fun. Shui Xiaofan comforted Yi Chen when he saw that he was in a bad mood. Yi Chen nodded somewhat uncomfortably, although now 1 million is not bad for Yi Chen. But who doesn't want to enjoy the moment of opening something good? I thought he was going to come up with something good, but I didn't expect him to be really pretentious. I'm just telling you, how could anyone sense what's inside? The people around saw this dark ordinary spear and commented. Congratulations, sir, for firing a B-class long gun. The name of the gun is Ben Lei. At this moment, the staff member who had just solved the stone said with an envious tone. What? A B-level spear. There were gasps of air all around. Yi Chen was also a little stunned, and Shui Xiaofan almost jumped up with joy. Yi Chen, did you hear this? This is a B-level spear. Shui Xiaofan took Yi Chen's arm and shook it vigorously. What shocked Yi Chen was not the spear, but that he could actually feel the items inside the stone. Ah, you're pretty lucky. Yi Chen smiled and took the spear. After getting the spear, Yi Chen felt that this spear suited him very well, both in terms of length and feel, it was just right. Yi Chen couldn't help but pick up the spear and wave it casually. There was a burst of sound, and the gun seemed to be integrated with Yi Chen's arm. Yi Chen injected a little bit of source energy into it. Weapons above sea level can increase their power by injecting source energy. This is because weapons of sea level and above have an energy transmission stone added to them, which can transmit source energy. As Yi Chen injected source energy, the thunder gun gradually changed color, and thunder and lightning patterns continued to appear on the gun. A gun gleam about 2 fingers long also appeared on the tip of the gun. At this moment, the true face of the gun was truly revealed. Yi Chen said excitedly, "What a gun! A handy weapon is very important, not to mention that this spear is very suitable for Yi Chen's abilities. This spear also has characteristics. It bleeds, the damage caused is difficult to heal, and the injured person will continue to lose source energy. This characteristic can play an important role whether it is fighting people or hunting strange beasts. What's more, Yi Chen also has a wood spirit armor that accelerates recovery. If he is in a battle, one will wax and wane. Yi Chen's advantage in source energy will become bigger and bigger, which is a perfect match." When people around saw such a cool thunder gun, they couldn't help but envy. A good gun, worth at least 50 million yuan. This is a B-class weapon. 1 million for 50 million, a 50-fold increase. Yi Chen did not continue to show off, put the thunder gun into his bracelet, and said with a smile, "Help me open the second one too." At this moment, Yi Chen didn't care anymore. Even if this stone couldn't produce anything, Yi Chen wouldn't be disappointed. Now that Ben Lei is here, Yi Chen just wants to go and fight in the wild. But Yi Chen was still looking forward to it. After all, the fluctuations he felt at that time were stronger. Soon, the second stone was dug out, and inside was a jade the size of a thumb. It exudes a faint white light and looks nothing special. However, having learned from the past, the people watching did not say anything this time. They did not know whether this stone would be another treasure. They were embarrassed because they didn't recognize the thunder gun before, so how dare they say anything now? Congratulations, sir, for getting a piece of calming stone. The calming stone has the effect of calming the nerves and calming the mind. It can be made into jewelry with better long-term wearing effect. The staff member said politely. It turns out to be a calming stone. It's worth about 800,000 to 900,000 yuan, so it's not a loss. The people around him couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. If Yi Chen came out with something good again, they might feel even more uncomfortable. They would really doubt that Yi Chen had any special powers. Well, it's not bad. I'll make a necklace and give it to Qingyao when the time comes. Yi Chen murmured. However, Shui Xiaofan heard these words, and Shui Xiaofan's face instantly turned pale. Are you going to give it to your girlfriend? Shui Xiaofan lowered his head and asked in a low voice. Yi Chen didn't know what Shui Xiaofan meant. Yi Chen paused and said, "This is for my sister. She is not in good health." When Shui Xiaofan heard this, he immediately became energetic and a smile appeared on his face. Yi Chen saw this in his eyes and thought to himself, "It seems that we have to hurry up and make it clear. If we cut it off, it will be cut off. The longer we delay, the more unclear it becomes." Yi Chen just wanted to find a suitable time and put it more tactfully. After all, Shui Xiaofan was indeed very kind to him. Even if it was for the sake of climbing higher, Ji Yechen could understand that at least he was sincere in his kindness to him. Yi Chen took the calming stone handed over by the staff. Just when Yi Chen's hand touched the calming stone, a crisp system sound sounded in Yi Chen's mind. Ding! An item containing a large number of power points has been detected. Do you want to absorb it? Yi Chen was stunned. What? A lot of power points. What's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? Shui Xiaofan asked with concern when he saw Yi Chen in a daze. Ah, no, I was just a little distracted. Let's go shopping again. Yi Chen came back to his senses. Yi Chen did not absorb the calming stone right here, but directly put it into the energy storage bracelet. Didn't the staff say it was a calming stone? Could it be that he had misunderstood? Compared to the staff, Yi Chen naturally believed in the system. Perhaps the Federation has not really discovered the true use of this calming stone, and will study it carefully after returning. Yi Chen and Shui Xiaofan walked around on the second floor. Most of the people here came to gamble on stones. Yi Chen also saw a person spending 1 billion to develop a red sun orchid, which was a genius land that greatly improved the ability of people with fire attributes. It's probably worth about 3 million. When the market is better, it might be sold for 5 million. In short, it's a blood loss. Let's go up to the third floor and take a look. The two of them went to the third floor together. The third floor was a restaurant. Of course it was not an ordinary restaurant. The dishes sold here are all made from exotic animals, and the chefs are all people with cooking-related powers. The dishes made are not only delicious, but also have great benefits for cultivation. It's noon, let's go have a meal together. Yi Chen looked at Shui Xiaofan. Okay. Shui Xiaofan blushed slightly and nodded slightly. Of course she was very happy about Yi Chen's invitation. And since it was in such an expensive restaurant, she thought Yi Chen also had a crush on her. The two chose a seat by the window and ordered 2 set meals. Yi Chen's was the warrior set meal and Shui Xiaofan's was the awakener set meal. The dishes here are not ordered by customers, but made by the restaurant based on your cultivation. Every day's dishes are determined based on the ingredients of the day. It can be said that the dishes may be different every day. The 2 set meals Yi Chen ordered cost a total of 100,000 yuan, and Yi Chen was also a little surprised. This is just the set meal for warriors and awakened ones. The higher prices are more expensive, costing 100,000 yuan per meal. It's okay to eat once in a while, but even Yi Chen can't stand it if he eats it every day. What Yi Chen didn't know was that those top aristocratic families really ate like this every time. Soon Yi Chen and his friends' dishes were served. Yi Chen's was a steak and a salad, and Shui Xiaofan's was a lamb chop and a bowl of soup. I don't know what they were cooked with. Yi Chen cut a piece of steak and put it in his mouth. The meat was delicate, tender and juicy. He could swallow it and fall into his belly without chewing much. Yi Chen felt a warm current spread from his stomach to his whole body, and his body seemed to become lighter. Eat more, it's good for your health. Yi Chen saw that Shui Xiaofan was a little shy and didn't move his chopsticks much. Okay. Shui Xiaofan lowered his head and started eating bit by bit. What are your plans in the future? Will you continue in the Chu Chamber of Commerce? Yi Chen asked. Shui Xiaofan hesitated for a moment and nodded. Yes, I want to earn more while I'm young. You also know that we still have some age requirements, and Manager Zhao is very good to me. Okay. I'll talk to Uncle Zhao later and ask her to take care of you. This will be considered as a gift in return for being my guide today. You don't have to worry. The young master of the Chu Chamber of Commerce is my friend and has a good relationship with me. I'll tell him later, Yi Chen said with a smile. Shui Xiaofan's expression changed again and again, then he nodded without saying anything. At first, she thought Yi Chen cared about her and asked Zhao Hai to take care of her, and she felt very happy. Later, she heard that Yi Chen was talking about today's return gift, and she understood. If Yi Chen really had feelings for her, he wouldn't have said this. On the surface, Yi Chen was taking care of her, but in fact, he had drawn a clear line. Yi Chen continued. I should go back after attending the auction in the past 2 days. Shui Xiaofan raised his head, his eyes slightly red. Are you leaving? Are you coming back? Yi Chen sighed inwardly, nodded and said, well, I'm going back to take the college entrance examination. After that, I should go directly to college. I'm afraid I won't be back in a short time. Yi Chen didn't tell her that he would definitely come back and seek revenge from the Yi family, leaving Shui Xiaofan with no hope. Shui Xiaofan's voice was a little trembling and he said, okay, then take care of yourself and everything will go well. Yi Chen deliberately adjusted the atmosphere and said, it will definitely go well. After all, I can be considered a little genius. Sister Shui just waits to see me become a blockbuster in the college entrance examination. Shui Xiaofan also smiled and nodded, you will definitely succeed. Then I'll lend you Sister Shui's good words. The two of them left Qijin Pavilion after eating. To go up to the 3rd floor of Qijin Pavilion, you need to be a military commander or above, and Shui Xiaofan didn't know what was going on up there. After the two of them left the Qijin Pavilion, Yi Chen did not continue shopping. Now that the matter was out of the way, there was no point in continuing the shopping and it would only add to the embarrassment. Moreover, Yi Chen was very satisfied with today's harvest. He wanted to go back and see the calming stone right now. Shui Xiaofan quickly adjusted and returned to the Chu Chamber of Commerce. In fact, Shui Xiaofan didn't really like Yi Chen so much that he couldn't help himself. They only knew each other for about half a month. However, Yi Chen's behavior was very good, and he did not have the arrogant and dandy air of the children of aristocratic families and some geniuses. It was normal for Shui Xiaofan to be tempted, but she also knew that Yi Chen and she were not from the same world, unless Yi Chen really liked her very much. But she also knew that it was only for these 10 days, and Yi Chen only said a few words when he came to sell materials. She was not confident enough to be able to charm Yi Chen in just this little time. So even if Yi Chen rejected her, she was only disappointed for a moment and quickly returned to normal. Yi Chen didn't take it seriously, he just regarded it as a small part of his life. Yi Chen believed in the idea that there is no woman in his heart, and he was the god of nature who drew his sword. No, he was the god of nature who drew his gun. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.